But I think the development of full artificial intelligence would spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object, and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody is checking it out.
I don't know if it was a rocket or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. It was too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
So you said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help me!
Aliens won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1, 0, 1, 1,
self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio.
Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest into the digital darkness.
Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. I'll be here tonight with your co-host for the evening, Tim from Georgia. That's Tinfoil Timothy University. And we'd like to say hello to all of you who might also have troubled minds. What's up, guys? It is Thursday night, and that means it's show night. It's the night where we get together, at least one of the nights anyway, where we talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about, of course. Those things are aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, the government, academia, the 24-hour news cycle, propaganda, and basically how the entire world just seems to be in a constant state of upside down. No matter where you look, here, there, everywhere, everything seems to be upside down. I need not point out the pandemic that's been happening. I think we were beating that dead horse long before people were even talking about it, so we don't need to follow up on a lot of the things that came true from our predictions. We don't need to talk about those things because we talked about them a year ago. And that's how far ahead we are sometimes. And there's a gigantic advantage we have where the free flow of communication from myself to you is simple as snap your fingers and we can talk. And we don't have a newsroom to appease. We don't have an associate editor out there that's saying, no, you can't talk about that. You have to talk about this. No. We talk about what we want to talk about, and it is unfiltered, and we include you as part of this process. If you want to be part of the show tonight, it is live. This show is always recorded live. It will always be recorded live because that's part of the transparency process. That's part of how we dodge the mainstream media and the way that they try and edit things in real time by getting between you and getting between me and trying to change the message. Well, since we're recording live and we're actually streaming live on Facebook, streaming live on YouTube, streaming live on DLive, and we're broadcasting live on the Fringe FM, KTLK, that's a digital radio network. Now, you can just pick up the phone, you can call us. anytime tonight, and we'll put you on. We don't screen calls. I just ask that you be polite. I will be polite back. 702-957-1037. Join the Discord at troubledminds.org. That's the official website. And one more time, the phone number and the Discord link are there at troubledminds.org. And you can be part of the show by dialing that phone number again, 702-957-1037. We actually have another Discord running as well. It's the same chat program. Discord is a chat client. It's a voice client. It's what all the youngsters are using to play video games these days. We use it to do a talk show. So if you want to be part of that, we're also running a Fringe FM Discord. Go to fringe.fm/chat, and that will be your direct invite straight to the Discord. And that's what's going on. That's what we're doing tonight. And the topic tonight is UFOs. Figure that out, right? Now, there's been a whole lot of weird things happening, of course. And one incident in particular over New Mexico is getting quite a lot of press. And we're going to be talking about that tonight. And like I said, we have Timothy from Georgia. That's Tinfoil Timothy University, I believe, is the way that's said on YouTube. We'll get him on here in just a sec. Anytime, Tim, and you're good. Just hop on the regular line. We'll get you on the show. But that's what's on deck tonight. And as always, we're looking to hear from you guys. And the question of the evening as we start tonight is, of course, what the hell are all those things out there in the sky? Like I said, I tapped into some of these databases, and I'm looking at what's going on and all these reports, right? You would expect that, given everybody has cell phone access, and most everybody now, and anybody can take a quick picture at any time. We all have cameras on us, where 30 years ago we did not even close. And so you would expect as that paradigm changes, that we're actually able to get together and discuss what these actual UFOs are. We'll have better footage. We'll have actual photographs. We'll have actual videos. And, of course, some of these things are going to be shaky, as always. Cell phones aren't really made for, astronomy type of thing, or taking pictures of very fast-moving objects in the sky. But at least everybody's got, most everybody has a phone in their pocket all the time. And so if something ridiculous happens, in many cases, we're able to pull out the phone and at least try and get some pictures or some video of this. And there's tons of it out there. There is an unbelievable amount. Kind of watching the MUFON database, there's probably 2 or 3 or 4 every day that are reported directly to them. Probably that many more plus to the National UFO Reporting Center. And it's right, and that's just a couple I checked. That's just a couple I looked at. I'm sure there's other databases where people are getting reports regarding UFOs. So that's the question tonight. And of course, this being a UFO show, all options are basically on the table here. This is not me trying to tell you what's going on, because I wish I knew. I have no idea what's going on out there. I too have seen some strange things in the sky. But as far as what they are, that's open to the discussion here. That's what we're talking about. And so, of course, right, you have to include all the possibilities. And those possibilities would be what? Of course, aliens, right? Like some sort of extra-dimensional type of entities. But on the other side, what about fakes? Deep fakes are getting more and more ridiculous. Photoshop and actual CGI has becoming more and more accessible to the regular folks that have just access to these fantastic computers now with an unbelievable amount of processing power. Not to mention this sweet software that comes out every single day. As an exaggeration there, but newer and better software all the time to be able to create these things and to kind of maybe fake things. So right, and then of course we have the propaganda, which who knows. As our government starts to talk about this stuff and do their thing and try and give us a narrative, right? The actual narrative about what UFOs are. I think it's definitely within our purview here, and I think it's within our right to question what is going on with the information from the government. So again, right, like lots of things there, lots of angles, and lots of things to think about and talk about as always. And that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing here tonight, talking about this stuff. So again, we'll have Timothy on, Tim from Georgia. What's up, Tim? Anytime, buddy. Anytime. 702-957-1037. Hop on here. We'll get you on. He says, give me a few minutes. No problem. Okay, cool. And then I'll do some shout outs to chat in just a little bit, guys. So hang tight. But okay, so So let's start then with this story. The story here it goes like this. It's like a standard here. Let's read it. Let's read it straight from one of these articles here. Now this is from thedrive.com, and this is actually the folks who were on the tip of the spear breaking this story, right? So as always, I'm gonna link these things, and I'm gonna tell you about the UFOs that we're talking about tonight. If you want to follow up on me at any time, just let me know, and I'll drop the links in there. I always drop the links in that I'm talking about, so you guys can see I'm not making these things up. I'm not just randomly saying, okay, guys, there's these UFOs in the sky, and we're gonna talk about them. No. No, there's a very specific UFO in the sky that was reported recently in New Mexico, of all places. All right, so let's read just a little bit here from this. Again, let's see, I linked it all. You guys can find it there. And this is what's up. This is what's going on from the from thedrive.com, and they have a subsection called the War Zone. And again, this is by Tyler Rogaway and his crew over there. It's hard for me in this day and age to say fantastic things about media outlets. Okay, it just is, because in the world of fake news, where everything's spun and politicized, and all the things we always talk about on this show, this outlet in particular, in my opinion, of course, I'm one guy. I'm allowed a singular opinion, right? But in my opinion, the Drive and the War Zone do some absolutely amazing work. And they don't lean over backwards, bend over backwards, lean over sideways, try and spin these things and turn them into political stories. This, in my opinion, is exactly what reporting is supposed to be. And, well, since it's dying on the dying on the vine with the New York Times and the Washington Post and all the rest of these guys who supposedly have been doing a good job reporting over the years, all you have to do is go watch some of that stuff. Go fire up some articles from their website, and you'll see. You know what I mean. I know I'm preaching to the choir a little bit here in regard to that. But anyway, so the War Zone, Tyler Rogaway, his outfit here, they do fantastic work. Headline reads this: FAA releases statement on airliner's encounter with unidentified object over New Mexico. Now, the American airline Airbus A320 was buzzed by a mysterious cylindrical object at high speed as it traveled from Cincinnati to Phoenix. And of course, Phoenix, right? Cincinnati to Phoenix, New Mexico was a little more than halfway there probably. And so this is the thing, right? Phoenix is no stranger to UFOs. Phoenix is its thing. They're famous for the Phoenix Lights, one of the most famous UFOs ever. So that entire southwest area, right, where again I'm broadcasting from Vegas, and that's what we do here. And there's things in the sky out here in the southwest, all kinds of things. And even if you take what the TTSA and that show Unidentified on the History Channel. Take that all the way out to the ocean and to the Nimitz encounter out there off the coast of San Diego, and then there's said to be things flying out of the water down there, kind of off the coast of Mexico. So I mean, this whole southwest area of the United States seems to be super hot when it comes to UFOs. But anyway, let's read just a little bit of this, and we've got some of the airline actual audio of them discussing this. But here we go. Let's just read just a little bit of this from thedrive.com. After nearly 3 days of waiting and following American Airlines confirming the incident to the War Zone, we finally have received a statement from the Federal Aviation Administration regarding the recent bizarre encounter between American Airlines Flight 2292 and an unidentified, fast-moving cylindrical object over New Mexico. The events occurred on the afternoon of February 21st in the remote northeastern corner of the state. The pilots on board the Airbus A320, which was heading from Cincinnati to Phoenix, came on the radio channel with the Albuquerque Air Route Traffic Control Center and stated, actually, I'm not going to read it, I'm going to play it. So we got the clip here, and I cleaned it up. It was super quiet, and cleaned it up a little bit and made it loud so you guys can hear what's going on here. But this was the statement that came over, and I have to note that this was reported by an individual, and I'm going to link his blog here as well. Please go check this guy out. Apparently, he's scanning the the airwaves for things like this, for anomalous things like this every day. And that's part of what he does as part of this blog. It's called deepbluehorizon.blogspot.com. Dropping it here in the chat, and you guys can please go check it out. Give this guy some love, and go hit his website and spread the word about where this information comes from, because this is important, right? Again, actual people doing what would you say, journalism, right? Like actually investigating things and actually looking into what's going on out there. So, okay. So here we go. We're going to play this. We got Timothy calling in. He's going to be on the show tonight with us. But we're going to go and start with this, all right? We're going to start with this. This is the clip that this particular flight, and I'm going to leave this blog up here that we can talk about this. Again, this is from deepbluehorizon.blogspot.net. There's his website. I linked it. Please go check it out. And this is the actual audio that he intercepted, and which really spawned this entire thing. So on Sunday, February 21st, just after 1 p.m. Central Time, the author of this blog recorded off a radio scanner an American Airlines passenger jet reporting an unidentified object that flew close and just over the aircraft. At approximately 1:19 CST on the Albuquerque Center frequency of 127.850 megahertz, or 134.750 megahertz, recording wasn't frequency stamped, the pilot reported this.
Have any targets up here? We just had something go right over the top of us that, I hate to say this, looked like a long cylindrical object that almost looked like a cruise missile type of thing moving really fast that went right over the top of us.
All right. Now, so that was fast. I understand. I realize. But it said this. Do you have any targets up here? We just had something go right over the top of us. I hate to say this, but it looked like a long cylindrical object that almost looked like a cruise missile type of thing, moving really fast right over the top of us. So there you go. That's what we're talking about. And let's get Tim on the line here. What's going on? Let's click to talk. There we go. Tim, you're on Trouble Minds with Mike. How are you, my friend?
Hey, what's going on, Mike? How are you tonight?
I am fantastic. Thanks for taking your time out to be on the show with us. We're talking UFOs, my friend.
Yeah, man, no doubt. Well, this latest UFO story you're covering really has my curiosity. The big tip-off here is the FBI is investigating this. Now, we've seen the last president form Space Force, right? We've seen the Air Force take a more active role in trying to look like it's, let's say, suppress what's going on. And the Navy was very readily to volunteer information with some of the videos that they put out to the public. So what I'm seeing here is some inter-service rivalry as far as the information control of this. But to have all these agencies, the FAA, everybody put out a statement, agree to it, and allow the audio out is major. I don't think the public quite understands just how major this is.
Yeah, I think
this is like.
Go ahead.
Going back to the days when the SR-71, when very few people knew it had been flying for even 15 years already, and if Reagan would have hopped on TV and said, "Hey, we could cross the country in 31 minutes and 32 seconds," most people would have said that's impossible. He's nuts. What's he drinking? And so this is one of those things where what they're describing might be man-made. But the question we all got to ask ourselves is, who in the world would be flying in an air traffic pattern and not know that that huge passenger plane is there? Even cruise missiles have built-in radars and stuff like that to follow the terrain. And they can pick up objects that are in their way so they can steer around them and everything to go to their target. So kind of stands to reason here. I think we got a real UFO sighting, an actual bona fide. Everything they see on TV kind of wants them to believe they've seen a cruise missile or something similar, but I think what they actually seen was the real deal.
Yeah.
What I think, Mike.
Yeah, so based on the information we have right now, again, as always, guys, we're working with the information that's been reported. We're looking at the evidence. We're again hearing some of the audio clips here. But we don't know. I mean, we really don't know. But that's part of the conversation here. As this develops and as they get more information and start to release more information, we'll always follow up. We do. If I forget, completely open line. You guys know how to get me. You can literally just pick up the phone anytime I'm on and just say, "Hey, Mike, let's follow up on that one thing. One of these shows coming up," and we'll do it. That's the thing, right? So it's a part. The whole part of us doing this together is that we get to again keep each other accountable in that manner. But back to this. So that they actually didn't release the audio. This was picked up by somebody just kind of scanning the broadcast waves here. But what happens is when you get somebody that does this, they'll pick the audio and then it becomes a news story.
Right.
And then once it becomes a news story, and then they have actual evidence of these individuals, which they verified. If you go to this, again, you go to the website here with deepbluehorizon.blogspot.com. He actually has the entire, I believe it's like an hour long audio, the entire thing. So like he's not just doing like the quick clip like I did. You can hear the entire thing in its context as the pilots on the actual this particular airplane, which again was what was it? American Airlines flight 2292, and so you could hear them actually say who they are, right? And all of the normal pilot stuff that they do to verify that this stuff is absolutely real. So anyway, that's where this came from, and I don't know. This just keeps happening, right? It just keeps happening. Like it's almost like another day, another UFO sighting, and in the Southwest again. Hotspot. We're talking hotspots here.
I noticed a lot of show hosts have been saying what's going on with these folks concerning things going on in the political world, and everybody keeps saying it's like they're almost like they're aliens. They're taken over by aliens, and I keep laughing and chuckling every time I hear that because that is trending. That is actually trending. It's not real high up on the list, but it went from being at the bottom on most social media platforms to where now that is trending and working its way up. Some of these different things, not just UFOs, but actually people looking in going, hey, people are digging up the old Alex Collier videos when he discusses extraterrestrials and the different types of UFOs you see. And he's a big hallmark name for discussing those kinds of things, and I encourage people to watch his videos. Everybody's free to make up their own mind and, get out there, do the research, because this one here, there's been no denial. Nobody has stepped in and tried to debunk this, deny it in any kind of way. You haven't had anybody high up in any level of government come out and try to quash this or anything. We see none of the regular moves that are made in the past where things are usually suppressed or altered or changed. This has just been, they've let it happen. They've let it come out.
Right, exactly. So they have the FBI has issued a cannot comment, but that's basically it. So you're right there where they have audio, and so they can't actually deny it because the dude's got the audio. And we just heard it. We just heard the audio.
Right.
So I'll
play it again. It's an active investigation, so they can't report on it under an active investigation like that.
Exactly.
And that's generally the case with a federal investigation.
Yeah, so we cannot confirm or deny, right? And we'll get to that in a little bit. So we got to take a quick break here, Tim. So hang tight, everybody. We're talking UFOs tonight. In particular, this bizarre one that just happened over New Mexico on February 21st. It just happened this week, and there's some weird stuff with it. There's some weird stuff going down. We're here tonight with Tim from Georgia, Tinfoil Timothy University, talking UFOs. 702-957-1037. One more time. 702-957-1037. If you want to be part of the show, troubledminds.org is the official website. I'm Mike. This is Tim. Hang tight. We'll be right back after the break, talking UFOs tonight. Gonna mute you, Tim. Back in 5 minutes.
Yeah, man.
All right, welcome back to Troubled Minds. Streaming on Facebook, streaming on YouTube, streaming on DLive. We are broadcasting on the Fringe FM. I'm Michael Strange. I'm here with Tim from Georgia, Tinfoil Timothy University, and we are talking UFOs and the bizarre encounter that just happened this week over the skies of New Mexico. What the heck is this all about, and why does this keep happening? What is actually out there in our skies? That's the question tonight. All right, let's kill that. What's up, Tim? Welcome back. How you feeling, my friend?
Doing good, man. This one's got me excited, man. It really does. This one has me excited. I look at 95% of them. I'm always very objective and check things out real well. And 95% of them, like you pointed out earlier, with today's modern technology, Photoshop, video editing, and things that are out there, you have to be real careful how things are presented, the way deep fakes can be made. And just be cautious out there. Be cautious exactly, what you take in, and there should be a limit. I tell everybody there's a limit as far as you should go to take something in, and then you got your gut feeling. Trust your gut feeling. When I seen this, my gut feeling said, hey, put the brakes on. Since when have all these folks ever got together and let something ride on out like this and make the press? And it's nonchalant almost.
Yeah, so talking about the FAA.
Having a different feel to it has me wondering what's going to come next. And there's a lot of space activity. Look how much activity is going on in space with Elon putting rockets up, NASA putting rockets up like crazy. The Air Force has been putting its own rockets up. You can look at the launch schedules for all the launch centers and for the European Space Agency, which has one in South America, I believe in French Guiana. They can even launch rockets out of there. But if you look at the schedule of these things and how many and how active we've been for the last 4 years, the only explanations we're getting are we might go to the moon or we might go to Mars.
Right, exactly.
We might do this, we might do that. No discernible plan and no discernible explanation to the public from, say, an official from the Pentagon, along with the president, to say, hey, look, we want to inform you a little bit more to calm the world's fears. Let's at least give us what they may think a little bit and what the concerted effort is to try to protect the public, because at some point people are going to get scared if the frequency of this goes up.
Yeah,
Who's
exactly.
going to want to fly in a plane when something like that can happen? I mean, I don't want to go flying anymore, do you?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. And so not only that, so I did look. I was like, okay, so is this just a media myth that actual UFOs are increasing, that we're starting to see them more? Or, as we've kind of looked at in the past and talked about as we started the show tonight, are we seeing them more because people have actual, phones in their pocket? Everybody's got a phone. So I happen to think that's part of the case here. So I went and looked. Everybody has partial access to a MUFON database, and then also here the new NUFORC.org, newfork.org. This is the National UFO Reporting Center. I linked it in the chat if you guys want to take a look, and I have it up on the stream. Now this is an actual direct database of UFO reports since December. All right, this goes all the way through January here. And actually, no, it's you can't even, it scrolls too far down. But if you look, it's an unbelievable amount of people reporting bizarre things in the sky. And you can see, right? So here, let's just read this top one. And it goes on and on and on. This list is endless. And this is just, 1 month, not even a month. It's like partially. So now here's the thing.
Right.
First one, Florida, right? Cantonment, Florida. I don't know if that's how you say that, but that's the city. They say it happened in Florida. It's teardrop shaped. The duration of the visibility of this was 40 seconds, and here's what it says right here. And this is just the top one. At 9:25 a.m., I was backing out of driveway. I looked up to my left, and about 1 to 2 miles in the air at 10 o'clock, I saw a teardrop. And there you go. And again, scroll down. Every single one of these you guys are seeing in the stream. And if you look at the link I dropped in the chat there, just scroll down. Every single one of these entries is a UFO sighting in the past 60 days because it goes back to December. So it's like, wait, what? Like, what the heck is going on here? So maybe it is. Maybe we are living in the UFO renaissance. Sorry, go ahead, man.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible. Yep.
Yeah, take a look.
I ran into the same thing. There's so many reports, you can't take it all in. You need a team of people to sit down and sift through everything and just make a small pile of what the super credible stuff is, and you're still going to have a pile that an army of people would have to sift through, literally.
Yeah, very much like the old school Project
Blue Book. Sit down and
Book.
interview all these people. I mean, could you imagine the resources and money that would be spent by anybody's government if you went around and just investigated 50% of these reports? And I got to wonder, is somebody doing that? Is there a huge concerted effort worldwide to look into this? Hoping somebody out there has more answers on that.
Yeah, I think the craziest part about that now, okay, we're all familiar. If you're listening to this show, you know who Lou Elizondo is, right? He's the guy that supposedly worked for the government. Okay, I'm gonna say supposedly because it's still a point of contention with some people. But he says he worked for ATIP, all right, the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, all right. Now he's out there saying that the reason he's doing all the media appearances and the reason he left the government is because there isn't a concerted worldwide global effort to get to the bottom of this. And he says he's trying to push it out there and turn this into give it the media coverage it deserves. And he actually made a comment on this. We'll get to that a little bit later. Remind me if we don't get there. But I mean, are you kidding me? Like, we have governments the world over. We got, again, just look at that link I just put up. Again, I'll put it up on the screen. You guys can see. It's an unbelievable amount of UFO sightings. Again, just take half of these and throw them out and say they're easily explainable, just like Tim said. Then you go and you look at the next half, and then you're like, well, wait a minute. These look a little weird. They got bizarre shapes. They're this, that, the other thing. Like, what's going on here? What's really happening? And if the governments aren't actually trying to get to the bottom of this, who the hell is? Who the hell is us, right? I don't even know any.
That's the scary thing. That's the scary thing. If that guy is correct, the implications of the planet being wide open is just mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. They call the Space Force guys, they're not airmen like the Air Force. They're called guardians. What are they guardians of? What do we not know that they would be guardians of?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, and again, go back to when Space Force was created, we actually speculated this when it happened, that they just spotted the first interstellar object, Oumuamua. And so we had speculated back then that, wait a minute, so this just happened, kind of September-ish, and by March, they had created a entirely new branch of the military called the Space Force. And at the time, they didn't have that name yet, but they eventually became known as the Guardians. Like you said, Guardians of what? Of what? What the hell's going on out there?
And it reminds me of Reagan's speech. Every time I hear Space Force and Guardian, it takes me back to the Star Wars program, and it takes me back to Reagan. And the height of UFO reporting was, up until now, I'd say the last 6 or 7 years really was back then when Ronald Reagan was president. You had this huge explosion, and then there was admissions, that, hey, we've got aircraft now, and some revelations to the public in the world through the 80s and early 90s as to the type of aircraft that were being operated out of Skunk Works and places like that. And And then it became mainstream knowledge. Hey, we've got the U-2, the SR-71. We have these phenomenal aircraft, and people have always tried to debunk and link that and say, well, you had this explosion aircraft, and so people thought. And I say, well, you know what? Why don't you go back to World War II with the Horton brothers built the first flying wing bomber with a radar absorbent coating on it. And it was jet engine powered, and they were test flying that thing in 1942, 1943 successfully. It was so successful, we brought them and the plane back to the United States after the war, and that eventually became the stealth bomber, the B-2 stealth bomber. So I tell people a lot of time it's us. Some of what we're seeing, and like you said, you can get through half of them and say, hey, that's probably us. But then there's stuff that people are definitely seeing, things that I've seen. Been around a lot of military bases, and I live real close to a bombing range where I'm at right now. And I know every kind of aircraft that we have that they, whether it's the Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, operates, they bring them out here to practice. So we see them, you hear them, you get used to them. Been around it my whole life. And to get to hear the sound of things, and we're operating drones now. I've definitely seen unmanned drones booking it during different times when, in the past year, we've been at some heightened tensions around the world. We have definitely stepped up our activity in the air. And I think sometimes people see these drones, but then there's so much, man, at this point in time that nobody can deny it anymore. And it's like once it gets to a certain level of the past the public eye, that people go into this denial stage. It's like, okay, let's find a million reasons to say this can't be true. And then you'll get attacked from all these different areas. You know, cancel culture attack you. The really devout religious folks will attack you. I mean, you'll get it from every direction.
Yeah, you get it from every direction.
And I just tell everybody,
sorry,
keep an open mind. There's stuff in the Bible for the religious people that if that's not description of a UFO or an interaction with a different type of being, then what is it?
Exactly right. And like I said, look at this National UFO Reporting Center. Now I'm going to give you one more. Now check this out, guys. Now this is fantastic. I told you I'd give you access to this. I found this. This is from some other smart folks. I didn't realize you could actually find this, but this is from MUFON. So you can't get access to the entire MUFON database, but you can get access to their last 20 sighting reports. And so basically you can just press refresh and get every day or so their last 20 reports. And not only that, so after that huge list we just had from the other one, the National UFO Reporting Center, now we have this, which is not just text. There's actual videos attached. There's actual photographs attached. I'll pull up a couple photos here and you guys can take a look at this. But this is again, if you go out and you look and you actually just look for what's going on out there and you try and find a number, I don't know, there's maybe, let's say 100 of these sightings happening a day. I'm just throwing a number out there. I don't know if that's accurate. But if you try and find a number and you go to all these different databases to find out what the heck is really going on, even a conservative estimate, it's an astronomical amount of bizarre things in the sky. And just like Tim said, I agree 100%.
Yes, sir, it is.
We end up spending our entire lives here under the boot of this garbage lying dog media. And of course, if they were reporting this stuff as it should be reported, people would be scared out of their wits, right? It's funny. So
they really would.
The media is like this. It's like the fear media, right? It's like if it bleeds, it leads. They want to keep you in a constant state of fear. They want you to hate each other. That whole bit.
Yeah.
Except when we get to this, when we get to lights in the sky and they can't explain it, then they don't want to scare the wits out of you because they have no idea what's going on, right? They'll only try and scare you so far, but when we smack into this, this is like the electric fence, right?
Right. Hey, we have seen presidents say they've seen things. We've seen governors say that they have seen things. We've seen actors. We've seen famous, credible people that have no reason to lie. They're wealthy, they're intelligent, they're adroit people. They've got no reason to lie to you. Why would they? I mean, people will say, well, there's a bigger conspiracy that they would push. I don't think so. And I've got a lot of reasons for saying that, because at the end of the day, most people, if they'll think things through logically and rationally, can get through all separate the wheat from the chaff, so to speak. And they'll think about things, and that's a good start there. Let's just start there with some of the things that have been going on the past couple of years. But this just has that feel where there's something big coming next. I think the whole world's going to know it, and wouldn't surprise me if they park something real big up in orbit that everybody can see, and it'll be undeniable to the whole world. And that's why all this keeps taking me back to Reagan's speech, where he said, hey, what if we were all faced with something where we all had to work together for a common cause? And if we ever wanted to mine asteroids, if we ever wanted to take the world to the next level, we are going to all have to work together. We are going to have to make some changes in how human beings live. We are all going to have to give and take and compromise and work things out where we work with the world and things work together for those common goals. And that's about hopes and dreams for your kids. That's what I tell everybody, for your kids and grandkids. They got to have something to look forward to. And people will say, well, they're faking the UFOs. They just faked the Mars landing, this and that and the other. And I've made a lot of jokes about it. We've all seen really good memes about the Mars rover. But I tell everybody, the technology that went into that, to put 12 cameras on something, put it out there, whether it's really there or not, it doesn't matter, because everything that went into that is making modern stuff that we all enjoy today possible. If it wasn't for the Air Force and NASA, we wouldn't have modern communications. We really wouldn't be doing what we're doing now, being able to talk over podcasts, over all these different platforms. If it wasn't for the people who have pioneered this stuff, that have been public and private cooperation, DARPA and places like that. So I applaud all these people, these engineers and scientists, and maybe we don't always decide ethically and pull the morals out when we should on a lot of these things, and we see that. We see people be victims to it. So we definitely need more awareness about it, and when people want to not pursue it, we all got to learn how to talk about it with people in authority and present something simple with facts readily presentable, and keep it very simple and very short, because we see it's like the dinosaurs up there, man. And I am making fun of a lot of them. You got a lot of them been up there for 4 decades, 3 decades. A lot of them are getting way up there in age. They're not with the technology. They can barely use social media. So if you're trying to talk to them about UFO evidence, they're probably just going to think you're a total lay moron, man.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's part of the problem with dealing with higher government and a lot of really, really, I call them the super educated people, the people that are so educated that it backfired on them. And they get in this rut where they know everything, and so they can't keep the open mind and the third eye open. And they're missing out on a lot, because you need people of expertise to look at things. And when they deny looking at them, they do a disservice to everybody in the education that they receive to pass it along and do the right thing by keeping an open mind. And I'll never understand that. I will never understand in a million years how we've reached this point, when I know military people, my father included, that have seen stuff and come home and just been like, extra gray hairs, just going, holy, I can't repeat it on the air, you know what I mean? And it's like, and him not just say anything to this day,
Yeah, these things are real.
Takes things very seriously.
Yeah, these things are
and
very
he's
real.
like, man, I got to tell you, I've seen stuff. I've seen full bird colonels just go, oh, my God. You know, we're probably all going to get sent to different assignments after this, you know. And then like 9 months later, we're back in Germany for 4.5 years again. So,
right, or worse.
You never know what's going to happen, man.
Or worse, yeah. No, so, and that's the thing, right? So going back to this MUFON database, I've got this up on the screen, guys, and you see these photographs, right, that people have put out there. And like I said, I put the link out. You know exactly where I'm getting this information. This is hot off the press. This is a image from, let's see, this is from February 24th. They submitted this, and this happened. The date of the incident was February 3rd, so it took them a couple 3 weeks to actually post it. But they've got photographs. They've got pictures of these things. And again, right there it is. It's right there up on the screen. And again, if you guys don't know, it's basically just looks like a UFO. It looks like a light in the sky. It's broad daylight. It's a blue sky. And there's something out there that doesn't appear to be an airplane. All right. And again, hundreds and hundreds of these things. Again, just two databases I'm looking at. I didn't even dig that hard. Yeah. And I'm like, holy crap, this is unbelievable. Yeah.
7 days, there has been a lot of big, giant, long cracks in Antarctica in different areas. And Amazing Ancient Discoveries YouTube channel had a video come out today that caught my interest. And I watched it, and he's right. I look at Google Maps a lot of times, and I'll look at my weather service app, and I'll look at those areas that they have covered with the black rectangle boxes that they don't want everybody seeing what's there. Well, what in the world is going on?
Exactly.
There's been so much activity down there that everybody's noticing that can't be hidden. That can't be swept under the rug. There's too many people reporting about it, showing good video, good visual evidence to support some good theories out there that I don't want to get into right now, but you have that going on.
Don't want to get too far into it. Hey Tim, we got to take a quick break. Okay, so hold that thought, and sure. We're going to go right back to this. But look, this is the thing, guys. On the screen right now, on the stream, this is a UFO that was reported to MUFON within the last 30 days. And they just keep coming. They just keep coming, right? Again, is this real? Is this not real? This isn't up for us to give you the answers here. We're not trying to do that. We're never trying to do that. But the question is, what is this stuff? What's going on in the sky, and what do you think it is? How much of this do you think belongs to us? How much do you think belongs to them? You get my meaning when I say them? This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. I'm here with Tinfoil Timothy University, Tim from Georgia. We're talking UFOs tonight. Wondering what you think. If you want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. One more time, that's 702-957-1037. Hang tight. We will be right back talking more UFOs. Love to hear from you. Don't go anywhere. Good evening and welcome back to Troubled Minds. This is the show where we talk about all the things we're not allowed to talk about. Of course, those things are aliens, conspiracy, the paranormal, and more. Tonight, we are talking about UFOs. What is going on in the skies around us? We are here with Tinfoil Timothy University, Tim from Georgia, and we're talking about what is going on out there. Lots of things. Again, I pulled up the MUFON database of the last 20 incidents. There's video, there's actual photographic evidence. Pulled up the National UFO Reporting Center, and it is days and days long of people reporting UFOs. So the question tonight is this: What the hell's going on in the skies? What the hell's going on out there? All right, let's kill this music. Get back to it.
Mike,
Tim.
I've had a new theory for a couple days.
All right, what do you got, man? What's on your mind? Actually, hold on. Before we do that,
Well,
let me ask you real quick. Are you still doing that YouTube channel? Have you got something we can plug here to make sure that people know where to find you if they can?
No, fellas. Every time I try to do something on my YouTube channel for about 2.5 years now, forget it.
Okay, I see.
I've had them edit my voice out of my own videos.
Okay.
I've had it's like that on any social media I get on. It doesn't take couple weeks and they kind of zero in.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that's that.
So it's not active. Gotcha. Okay. I'm gonna keep calling you that because I love the name. But okay, Tell us your theory about what's going on with the UFOs.
I'm going to get back on Station Head soon. I'm going to be back on Station Head soon, doing a podcast on Station Head app where people can join the chat and talk, and can also participate in the conversation. Station Head's a pretty good app.
Okay.
For doing that.
When you get that going, please provide me a link. I will share it around, and we'll have you back on next time to promote that podcast, okay?
Sure
okay.
will.
Okay, sweet. So go right ahead. What is your theory about the last? You said the last couple of days you had a new theory about what's going on in the skies.
Yeah, I did. I always try to think about both sides of the coin, and I think of everything in scientific method and lay it out as an equation from A to Z. And as I go through A to Z, I ask the 5 W's, what, where, why, when, who, and how, all that good stuff. And I start trying to plug in as many answers as I can to formulate this equation to get where I want to go. And I said, maybe I'm looking at this wrong. What would I do if I was an alien? What if I ran out, slapped on a $500 lizard suit, cranked up my UFO, broke it out of the barn, and just decided to joyride and terrorize the hell out of the passengers of an airplane so that it would generate press? Just on a whim. And then you've got every PhD in the world that would go, that's insane. Why would they do that, such an advanced race? Well, I don't know. But people like to have fun. I don't think they would be any different, to tell you the truth. And so a lot of times when people are getting buzzed and ships are getting buzzed and everything else, if you were an advanced, souped-up UFO, you're going to tell me you wouldn't, for 5 seconds, want to be Marvin the Martian and just act, and go ballistic for a few minutes, racing around the sky,
Well, I mean...
Because I know I would. Oh, yeah, I would have a great time.
Exactly.
Don't give them a UFO. I tell you what.
Well, okay.
Right. The whole planet, man.
So imagine, let's say a young Michael Strange as a teenager, or a young Tim from Georgia as a teenager,
yeah.
And you got access to a UFO. Are you kidding me? You aren't going to go take that joyriding? Come on. Of course you are.
That's right.
Yeah. So who knows, right? I think that's a hell of a question right there. So, right, if you guys are just joining us tonight, we're talking about this incident just happened. Let me just revisit real quick. I know people come and go during the radio show, so just a quick recap of what we're talking about tonight. This is from thedrive.com. The War Zone reported this. And there was a particular incident that just happened not 3 days ago, 4 days ago, something like this, where the American Airlines Airbus A320 was buzzed by a mysterious cylindrical object at high speed as it traveled from Cincinnati to Phoenix. And so we got Tim on the show to talk about UFOs with us tonight. And here's that clip. Here's that actual audio clip from these guys, all right? So again, I'm going to link this article. As always, you guys know me. I'm not making this stuff up. You can check my sources and find out what's going on here, at least where I got the information from. I'm not sure there's any answers, but there's a lot of WTF going on with this for sure. And here's how we know. Here's the clip of the audio of the pilots actually seeing this UFO. Now think in terms of this real fast. We have a commercial airliner with lots of people aboard, and we have this thing happen close enough to them to make the pilot almost say the word UFO. Almost. He didn't quite. You'll hear what he says in just a sec. But because, of course, there's a stigma that goes with that, right? If you're an airline pilot and you utter the word UFO, is it possible that your career is done? Yeah. Listen to how he says this very diplomatically. Listen to what he says. This is from Airlines Airbus A320, and this was American Airlines flight 2292. This is what happened.
Have any targets up here? We just had something go right over the top of us that, I hate to say this, looked like a long cylindrical object. It almost looked like a cruise missile type of thing moving really fast that went right over the top of us.
Right? You see what he said? He didn't say the word. He didn't say the word. He said it's a long cylindrical object. It flew right over the top of us. It looked sort of like a cruise missile. Now, do you think the military would be testing cruise missiles within range of a commercial airliner full of people? Just to add that, it seems weird, doesn't it? It seems a little weird. And so again, I started to look, and I pulled up again some databases, which I'll link again, the MUFON database, which you can actually see the last 20 sightings. And again, they're updating that constantly. And pulled up the National UFO Reporting Center, and there's just hundreds, probably thousands if you continue to scroll and search and sort and dig into this. There's an unbelievable amount of things in the sky that are being reported, right, that are, quote, anomalous. Again, we talked about throwing out half of those. It's still, if the other half is still worth looking at, that's a hell of a lot of weird things in the sky. If you're here listening to the show, I'm pretty sure you may have seen something yourself, right? And if you have, we'd love to hear from you tonight. If you want to be part of the show, here with Tim, just talking UFOs, kicking it, doing our thing, 702-957-1037. One more time, that's 702-957-1037. You can join the Discord at troubledminds.org. Just click the Discord link and hop in here and say hi. Come meet some new people and get on the show. But so I actually put up some actual photographs of peeled straight off the MUFON database right here of like people reporting UFOs, sending in photographs. I mean, what the hell, man? What the hell? Let me ask you, Tim. So you've actually seen UFOs in your lifetime, right?
I sure have. Yep.
Okay. So what is
one very close to Tyndall Air Force Base in Florida? That was in the early '80s.
Okay.
And
so
then,
can you describe
near Hahn
this?
Air Base in Germany? And the weird thing about that is both times there was an aircraft accident within like 24 hours of both of those sightings. And
really?
I wasn't the only person. Other credible people seen it. And in the case of Hahn over in Germany, that was an F-16 that crashed. But the sighting, what we had saw is it was during Reforger, which was a training operation to reinforce Europe from the United States. So they were doing a lot of training, a lot of flying, a lot of low altitude flying too, simulated dogfighting. And we're watching this stuff up in the sky, and we seen something fly through that just outperformed everything. And at first I thought it was a West German F-104. And I was like, nah, it can't be. You know, it's a lot smaller than an F-104 starfighter. And because they were still operating those at the time. I think they were the only country left still operating those. And then once I realized that the paint scheme was wrong, that that's not what it was, and how the other aircraft reacted to it, and then the next day they lost an aircraft. And that seems to be the case when we see a lot of UFO sightings. We get these random events happen with other aircraft very close to these sightings, like the engine that just fell off of the aircraft that made the news so big. Pieces of that engine fell off. Who's to say something didn't hit it and scrub up against it, and the people in the aircraft are totally unaware? If it's moving at 3,000 miles an hour and it came by and grazed you, chances are you would never even see it.
Yeah, it's a wrap. That's it.
And if it's stealth and you can't see it on radar, you wouldn't know.
No, exactly.
You wouldn't know.
Exactly. Yeah. So I wonder, kind of just thinking in those terms, I wonder how many actual plane crashes that have been. Thinking of
Sure.
that Malaysian one that just kind of disappeared, right? Like what the heck ever happened to
Right.
that? I wonder if there's instances where maybe they did get clipped, and it took the thing into a bunch of pieces and just completely without any incident, ended up turning that thing into just a plane crash. I mean, who knows, right? Of course, we're kind of extrapolating here and speculating, but we don't know. We don't know these things. But again, like you said, if they can travel as fast as we seem to believe they can, what some of the reports have suggested they can do, even Lou Elizondo with ATIP and the rest of that, and the Tic Tacs and all these things. I mean, these things are literally moving outside of our known physics. And if they can, clearly, they'd be able to just pretty much cut right through an entire airplane, you would expect, and you'd never even know it. It would just be like snap your fingers, it was a done deal, and it's just a plane crash now. So who knows? Again, just speculating, throwing out some ideas. Love to hear from you guys tonight if you want to be part of the show. 702-957-1037. One more time, that's 702-957-1037. That's a Las Vegas area code. And we're just we're talking UFOs tonight. This bizarre incident that just happened over New Mexico airspace, let's say. That's probably the best way to put it. Is I don't know, more and more. You put your foot on the gas, right? Again, scroll through some of these actual sightings and reports that have happened in the past, just 60 days, and it's an unbelievable amount of things. Unbelievable. So what's really going on right now, and what are these things entirely? I think that's the question. Now some of this stuff, let's chop into this just a little bit. This story, just go a little bit deeper here. Now, the FBI has stated this. This is from the Epoch Times, reported today, I believe. This is February 25th. What the heck is the day? I don't even know what day it is. It is the 25th. This is from today. And this is how brand new this news is and how it's breaking, because as statements start to come out, you start to get other news outlets pick it up and start to talk about these things, right? So this is from the Epoch Times, right? And the headline reads this. Dropped it in the chat if you guys want to check it out. The FBI is aware of possible UFO spotting. Won't confirm the investigation. All right, just read just a smidge of this to kind of see how how they word the response. Right, it's always interesting to look how official communication words the response. Right, it's definitely it's about what they don't say. So here we go. This is the FBI said Thursday it's aware of a possible unidentified flying object, but would not confirm whether the Bureau is probing the incident. Quote, the FBI is aware of the reported incident. While our policy is to neither confirm nor deny investigations, the FBI works continuously with our federal, state, local, and tribal partners to share intelligence and protect the public, a spokesperson for the Bureau's Albuquerque field office told the Epoch Times via email. So there you go. There's the FBI saying we cannot confirm nor deny, but they are aware of this sighting and the incident. And as the press covers it, here we are talking about it. So Tim, can you tell us about let's say, what's the most spectacular, what's the most memorable UFO sighting you've had? You said you've had more than one. What's the one where you want to explain what you saw where it made your mouth drop open and kind of changed the way you think about the world?
Well, Tyndall Air Force Base. It was right after the Space Shuttle Challenger disaster, and me and a couple of friends had walked across base housing, and you had access to the beach right there, and we were swimming early in the morning, and the sun hasn't long come up. Beautiful sun rising, and wasn't an aircraft because it was super quiet, and we could see it coming in the distance, and it was over us, past us, before the little bit of sound that hit us. And we argued that day whether it was a drone or whatever, and I remember that evening when the old man got home from one of the radar sites where he had went out to do some work, and I told him, and he said, well, we thought it had a malfunction on one where something had traveled across the area that the radar sees, and if they were calculating it right, it was going faster than we have anything that we had at the time. And other people started popping up the next couple days and it was like talked in low tones, and because it's a taboo thing in the military. It costs you your career and everything, and so families will talk about it and discuss it, but you definitely don't go to your boss with it. You kind of keep it to yourself, and that's how things work. Especially people that have top security clearances and stuff, they know to stay compartmentalized and to mind their own business. And so what's scary about this is the FBI is solely in charge of this investigation. I would think with a near aircraft collision like this, and I would call it, until we otherwise identify it, we're going to call it unidentified flying object, but it was almost a collision. I mean, it came close to the other aircraft. So I would think the NTSB, the Air Force, would send people to investigate, and Space Force would as well, because if you read their task, mission, and purpose of Space Force, this kind of falls into their domain, and I'm not understanding why we don't have a representative of every agency that's a full-time task force. We see a lot of wasteful spending, and if they want to spend some tax dollars on something and really get the public image going there, hint, 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 they'll get these folks out there, work together, and be a little transparent with the public on some things, and I think that'd go a long way, and to calming fears in the future too, because what happens when the big day comes and boom, they're there,
Yeah, exactly. Funny that you said when we first started tonight, you're like, it almost seems like we're building to something, and that something is like, well, we kind of been flirting with this for quite a long time, but bam, there's the huge UFO in the atmosphere. Guess what, guys? This is real.
Yeah.
Right? Like
there's going to be some politicians going, well, maybe we should have educated the public with infomercials once a day for the last 40 years. That might have been helpful.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
right?
when, people are outside and, me and my neighbors are launching bottle rockets at it and everything else we got. I mean, come on, an educated and informed public is going to be less prone to panic, and that's one of the reasons why I'm not understanding that these fine, smart people that we have that work for the Uncle Sam's cow here have not used this to their advantage in so many ways, because the more doubt you create, then you really got people creating conspiracy theories and putting out and then you got the disinformation artists too out there. Some things we can't mention on the air anymore because it'll get you in trouble. But when it comes to stuff like that, they had to knock it down. We see what happens with stuff like that and how dangerous disinformation can be. It can be catastrophic. Lies can get people killed. There's no other way to put it. And people can get really wrapped up into things, and if you mislead people and they've been alone and susceptible, especially in the last year with everything that's going on, folks can get angry pretty quick nowadays. And I just try to tell everybody, you owe it to be fair to the rest of humanity. Present the facts as you can, as best you can. Admit when you're wrong, and everybody, get stuff out in the open air and talk about it. It's the only way we're going to ever get the authorities to come clean. We get this, the Freedom of Information Act stuff, and I don't know if you've taken a look at it, Mike. I've went through a bunch of it, and it's so heavily redacted that most of it's useless. Most of the stuff they've released is just...
Yeah, I have.
I don't know why they bothered with it.
Well, I think, and that's the thing, right? So if you take like a Freedom of Information Act request and get like a response, and then let's say regarding UFOs, and you actually look at the document, right? Go to theblackvault.com, guys, theblackvault.com. Tons of FOIA stuff there. The guy's fantastic. Muck Rock is another one. There's some good people doing God's work out there trying to get information from the governments, okay? And so if you look at some of these documents, like Tim's saying, they are so heavily redacted, they create their own conspiracies, right? About, you read the thing and it's like, well, they can't tell you this person's name, they can't tell you the date of the meeting, they can't tell you the this or the subject or that or the other thing. And so you're left with like a bunch of, the, is, of, was, were type of words with a bunch of like all the important stuff just blacked out. It's unbelievable. But yeah, you're right. I mean, here we are. And so because of that, it spawns its own conspiracy, and we end up being the conspiracy theorists. I prefer the term fringe analyst. That's from borrowed that from Clyde Lewis. If everybody doesn't know Ground Zero, the guy's fantastic. But anyway, I mean, what is this about? So I guess the question is tonight. Again, the question is, where are we at? Hold on. Let's see what we got. You got go ahead, Tim. You got 1 minute, and then we'll take a quick break. But go ahead. One minute.
I just got to say, Uncle Sam, you have missed the most golden opportunity to get with a big TV network like Discovery Channel and have an all-star rock and roll program with people from each of the services, each of the agencies, full transparency, go rapping around the world on a 737, and go for it. You know how well that would go over with the public? You know how well that would go over with everybody?
Yeah.
I mean,
you think people would be interested?
Think about it.
Yeah.
They would be crazy not to have already done that and leave people to make it even worse by conjuring stuff up, like you said. It's amazing to me that nobody has pitched that and said, hey, why don't we do this and make this happen? I would like to see that happen, Mike.
They supposedly have. That's unfortunately, it was the unidentified To the Stars Academy with Tom DeLonge and all the rest of that, which was like the thing that drives. I know. Like, this is the thing that drives me the most crazy about it. It was nothing new. You know what I mean? Like, we could get together and we could probably crowdsource and make like a show as entertaining, as informative, because they were using old information. That's what drove me the most insane about it. It's like, really? So this is disclosure, talking about crap that happened 30 years ago that everybody knows about? Really? This is disclosure? Come on. Yeah, okay. All right. So anyway, all right. We got to take a quick break. So tonight we are talking about UFOs, guys. We are talking about what the hell's going on in the skies. We want to hear from you if you want to be part of the show tonight. 702-957-1037. We are taking your calls tonight. We're here with Tinfoil Tim at the University. Tim from Georgia. I'm Mike. This is Troubled Minds. 702-957-1037. Love to hear your UFO stories. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
The truth is out there, and so are we. KTLK, Digital Broadcasting, The Fringe FM.
Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. We're here with Tim from Georgia. We're talking UFOs. What the hell are all those things in the sky? You pull up the MUFON database, new stuff every day. You pull up the National UFO Reporting Center, look at their database, new stuff every day. Hundreds and hundreds of accounts. Many of you that listen to the show, you've seen things in the sky yourself. Otherwise, why are you here? You're not listening to some guy yammer on about UFOs if you've never even seen one or heard of them. Come on, let's be real. One more time, looking to hear from you tonight. 702-957-1037. One more time. 702-957-1037. And let's get Tim back on the line. You know, like this is what we're doing tonight. Just talking UFOs. Welcome back, Tim. How are you?
Hey, what's going on, Mike?
Kicking it, man.
Hey, I just wanted to encourage the audience out there. This is for the audience out there. Call in. A lot of you folks out there, I guarantee you, have seen something you can't explain. Don't feel funny. Talk about it. I'll tell you why. Not only will it improve your position on it, you'll feel better about it, you'll sleep better about it, but you will find out you're not alone, and the things that you've seen that you can't explain, I guarantee you somebody else in the world has had a very similar experience or identical to yours, and you just haven't met that person yet.
Amen. Amen. And that's exactly one of the largest, most important premise of this show, is that we can get together, we can talk about these things without the media filter. You call me, you say what you want to say. Nobody gets to spin it. I don't get to report it and say something else in your words. You get to say what you think, and that's the important part. Again, thank you so much, Timothy, for hanging out for us tonight. Tinfoil, Timothy University. He's gonna start a podcast his own. We'll get him back on when he gets that rolling. We'll promote that. And smart people, right? Again, met Tim on this show. Met Ash on this show. See what I did there? Met Ash on this show. Met Ash on this show. The ass jokes never stop. And then let's go. We met Joe on this show. The show can now finally begin. Let's go to Joe. Joe in Florida. Here we go. What's up, Joe? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike and Tim. How are you, my friend?
Not too bad. Way to go, Tim. Very good.
Hey, howdy, Joe.
Actually, not too bad, but listening to you made me think of a couple of things. Growing up, I've talked about a lot of the sightings I've had on the show, but my buddy's dad, was probably retired now, but he was a C-130 pilot, and he was in Vietnam and everything else, and when we were like 18. We used to screw around, but we'd ask him, "Did you ever see anything?" And the canned, programmed answer he would give you with the look in his eye, because he was a little bit crazy, and the guy didn't hardly sleep, is he would tell you, "I didn't see anything not reportable." And we always took that as, if you didn't know what it was, you just kind of didn't say nothing. You know? So right there was kind of admission. A couple of the other sightings, I've seen things when I was a kid, but you maybe have a Mandela effect, or you got your memory. When you were a kid, you're like, "Well, but I see that. Pretty sure I saw something, but I wasn't sure." But recent ones, as an adult here in Florida, I had a spate of them. I haven't seen anything late. We saw something this year, but it could have been a weather balloon, quite legitimately. But when my daughter was born, we were all on Mayaca River. My wife and I had a group of friends, her friends, down on Mayaca. I've said the story before. It was around Thanksgiving. I was looking for the Leonoids. There was a meteor shower. Everybody's drinking around the fire, facing into the fire, And I'm looking out because everybody's drinking, and I'm just like, you know what, I just want to see some shooting stars, whatever. And right before you know it, right down the river. I couldn't even get the words out. All I did was point up in the sky. It was right overhead, and I said the words UFO, because that's what came out of my mouth. And, some of her friends were kind of laughing, and they were like, "What the heck?" And all I could tell you is it looked like the chevron that you see. It was dimly lit. It was almost like it was cloaked. Even though I said UFO, my real thought was, that's probably ours. I thought it was a drone. It was totally silent, absolutely silent, right overhead, hauling ass in its own cloud. And then I'd have to say around Christmas time, I don't think I've said this one before, about a month and a half later, my son and I were driving north, to another town up in Hudson. And it was probably 8 o'clock at night. It wasn't even that late. It was very cloudy, very overcast, kind of foggy. And We're driving on this road, and my kid's like got his face in his Kindle, and I'm getting off the phone, getting off the cell phone, driving, and I see something. It looks like an airplane because St. Pete Clearwater Airport is really close to where I'm at. But it looks like a plane, but it's not lit up, and it's really low. And the closer I'm getting, I'm noticing that it's not moving. And, you know, sometimes you can look at planes depending on your speed and everything, and they look like they're hovering and not moving, but this had no lights or anything, but you can make out the image. And as I'm getting closer, I start hitting my kid. Pick your head up, get your head out of the screen. And he picks up his head, and it's right over, there's like an apartment building, and it has these antennas on top, an apartment building. And this thing's like hovering over the building, and now I'm driving underneath it, and I'm trying to pull into the parking lot. And as I'm pulling into the parking lot, and we're driving underneath it, and I'm making this right-hand turn into this parking lot, we're looking at it, and you can make the image of a wing, very dimly lit again, and we're rolling down the window, and you don't hear a freaking noise. And it's going right over a residential neighborhood, 8 o'clock at night, so it's not like it's late at night. Just cruising on out at low altitude. Windows were open. The biggest thing I could tell you is you couldn't hear a thing. And what felt weird about it was, in that moment, it was like when we noticed it, it started moving, and you almost felt like you were in a bubble. My kid swears, he's like, it was a plane. He goes, I think it was a plane. He goes, but I couldn't tell. You know, he doesn't want to think, he's 15. He's like, I don't want to be crazy, but he's like, I think it was a plane, but I didn't hear it. So he kind of is with me, but not. We still don't know. We still don't know.
Even your family is like, Joe, back off the edge, buddy. Back off the edge. No, and I think the craziest part about that is it seems so innocuous. It seems like every other UFO story starts, you're just doing your thing, right? You're out there in the world doing your thing, and then you're like, what the heck is that, right? Just out of nowhere, you snap your fingers, and there's something bizarre in the sky, and there's always something to go along with it, right? There's no sound. There's no sound. You felt like in a bubble of sorts. There were, like somehow you felt weird, strange, like something was happening. I mean, this is normal. All this stuff is normal when you talk to people who've seen UFOs, right? Like we've all seen the Mulder clip of him doing the time dilation thing where he starts to stop watch and walks up to the UFO to see if the time has changed, But anyway, sorry, go ahead.
So no. So quick story. You're looking at that. I go to that UFO Stalker's website and look at the reporting. Maybe once a month I look at my general area. Madeira Beach, Seminole, Gulf Coast, Florida, Gulf beaches, and everything. Mayaca is south of here. Now, if you were at MacDill and you had something that you wanted to get out, you could take it down the Mayaca River from MacDill, through the swamps, low altitude, and get it out into the Gulf of Mexico. And be gone. Now, my one buddy, who's, his family, they were all military. He's the one whose dad was a pilot. His other brother was working for the Air Force. It was in the Air Force. It was at England Air Force Base in the Panhandle. And he used to tell his other brother, Frankie, he used to tell him, we've got something that can reach anywhere in the world in a half hour. And this was in the 90s. So it makes you start to wonder. Now, here's a weird sighting, though, getting back to that map. If you look at the UFO Stalkers map and all the reportings, there was a sighting in Madeira Beach talking about the bubble. And this guy wrote it, and I kept reading it, and I wish I could have got a hold of him. Strange thing is I cannot find the account again of the sighting. But basically, every night there's people that will watch the sunset. So this guy says, he's like, my wife and I are outside, we're watching the sunset. There's a group of people there, and he says basically that this object appears, and everybody's watching this object. And he said he looked at his wife, and he was talking to her, and they were looking at each other, but they couldn't hear each other. And it was like all the other people were kind of looking, but it was almost like they were hypnotized. And he said when it was over, it was already dark. And everybody was just kind of quiet about it and just went their own way.
So something to that time dilation.
A lot of weird stuff happens.
Like
there's
missing
something to
time,
it. There's
right?
something to it. And a lot of weird stuff happens up and down the Gulf beaches. You know, some of it could be sky lanterns. You know, a lot of people want sky lanterns, and I could be out there looking. I'm like, that's a sky lantern. But there's a lot of stuff where you get that little extra if you just read a little bit more, and you're like, the person writing this is not making this up. You know, it's just kind of strange. There's too much going on to be denied.
Yeah, absolutely. We got to get going, Joe. But thank you for the UFO story. Thanks for the call, my friend. You were the best. The show can now begin. Joe from Florida has called. God bless you and the family.
Tim, hey, Timmy, thanks for co-hosting me. Very good to hear you. Good luck, guys.
Thank you, man.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thoughts on that story there, Tim? As we finish this up, we got about 15 minutes left before we finish up on Fringe, but we'll go another hour, guys. So the way this works is we do 2 hours on Fringe FM. We're broadcasting on KTLK, the Fringe FM, and we're also streaming on YouTube and Facebook and DLive. So if you want to hang out for a third hour with us and you were watching on those other platforms and not Fringe, we'll go a third hour. So just FYI. But yeah, what's up? So what do you think about his story there? And interesting, I thought the bubble that he described, and then maybe the time dilation, missing time. Like this is the UFO tropes of old kind of resurfacing, right?
Right. You can look up a newspaper report from the BBC. It came out in England. I think it's been about a decade ago, where this cable worker, they pulled him out on a stretcher, and he's screaming as they're looking at this live, because at first they thought it might have been a terrorist incident. And because it was, it wasn't that long after, I believe it was 9/11. I think it was, it might have been, I can't remember, it was before or after we invaded Afghanistan. But anyways, the guy screaming, "I seen time dilate, I seen time dilate." And I happened to be having a cup of coffee early that morning over at my old man's place, standing there with him watching the Fox News early that morning. And me and him looked at each other, and they're dragging this guy out of the big telephone building there, and I want to say it was in London where that happened at. Shouldn't be too hard to find the reports on that. Now, that's where the bubble thing comes in. Whole crap loads of people have experienced that. Or the portal in time, where you'll see something that looks very old, or somebody that's maybe working with a hoe or a rake or plowing a field, and they're doing it with old tools. And some people have the experience where that other being notices them. That person will notice them and even acknowledge that they're there, and then boom, it's gone. And that kind of, reminds me of Project Montauk and Al Bielek, the Philadelphia experiment, and some of that stuff. And we look at the technology that they're using today, firing up the ITEX, trying to make fusion power work. And I think the longest they can run one now is like 17 seconds or so. But that's like having an artificial sun. And so who knows what that's doing to all the properties and things of the physics of things that we don't know about, that we can't see.
Yeah, I think actually regarding that, the actual artificial sun, there's been reporting recently, like within the last year, that China has actually maybe broached that barrier of being able to have like an actual unlimited artificial sun. So again, it's impossible to say with the way the media reports things. It's impossible to say with government transparency and some of these things, right? But they're at least flirting with these technologies, and so I'm with you in the sense that if you go back and even we're talking about Einstein back in the Einstein days. He was talking about nuclear weapons and these sorts of things. That if they were kind of flirting with those technologies then in the Philadelphia Project, the experiment, and all this stuff, Camp Montauk, Montauk Project, Camp Hero, all that. That if they were flirting with that then, I think that's the craziest, scariest part about all this. And so maybe so it's not really that far out of the stretch of my imagination to say that maybe a lot of these UFOs that we're seeing that are being reported, and again, MUFON, what do you say? What did Joe say? UFO stalkers? I mean, again, there are dozens of databases out there where people catalog UFO sightings, and they're like, it's hundreds a day. It's got to be. I mean, that's an unbelievable amount. But I don't know. Like if there's a huge batch of those that belong to us, then it doesn't surprise me. It just doesn't surprise me. Back to that. I know it's highly controversial, and Bob Lazar on the reverse engineering and that whole thing, but it wouldn't surprise me. It just wouldn't surprise me if a lot of the lights in the sky we're seeing are some sort of military stuff that we're just not talking about. And unfortunately, that means that it's a huge cover up, and we're left flipping coins and guessing here. Sorry, go ahead.
The other thing that scares me here is every time we deal with UFOs, aliens, and everything, the issue of the anal probe comes up. And today we have the anal swab for the COVID test. And we're seeing that take place. And so how alien can you get?
That's a good point.
And tonight I was watching a show, doing a little bit of reading prior to Troubled Minds coming on tonight. And the show host, and this is the third one I've heard say this today, said, folks, when you stand back and look at this, I ain't no conspiracy theorist, and I'm not trying to make an issue about this, but how alien is this that's going on right now? And
that's interesting.
Even he was like, man, you see all the UFO sightings, and this is a guy that talks about conservative stuff,
Yeah.
And family values and issues. And when people like that notice, as busy as they are, running their business, their shows, dedicating their time to a lot of the big issues today that we all see and hear and know that are going on. And when they notice and they're putting the brakes on and they're chuckling, but they're not chuckling, and they're giving you that look like, hey, what the hell is going on here, man? What's going on?
Yeah.
So
no, yeah, I actually hadn't thought of that. So it is funny. It gives you a little bit of a chuckle there, a belly laugh to some, hopefully. But I mean, it is completely true, right? I mean, just like I said, kind of like imagine now. And we talked again, guys. We talked about this a year ago. We were talking about a medical industrial complex based on this whole pandemic. Okay, we were talking about this then, and even in our conspiracy, most tinfoil hat, wildest, ridiculous dreams, we wouldn't imagine you would be doing anal swabs. Are you kidding me? Come on, really? Like this is the world we live in, man. So yeah. I mean, it seems strange. It seems strange. Hey, we got a couple minutes left, Tim. So let's wind this down for Fringe. And so you want to plug the podcast you're about to start type of thing, or you just want to wind this out? Well, just to kind of get us in that.
Not quite yet.
Okay, but it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not quite ready to do that yet. I'm trying to create some graphics on my own. I'm a one-man band, and I'm self-taught in the audio and video world here. And I didn't learn how to stream until about 2 years ago, as far as live streaming went, and being able to use OSB and some of the other programs that are out there. And I just decided one day, hey, I want to do this. I want to learn this, and gradually work things to the next level, and study how to prepare a storyboard, all those different things, so you can be coherent, concise,
Yeah.
And have something that's worth listening to.
It takes work,
and
man.
those things take time to learn.
Yeah, hell
they
yeah,
really
they do.
When you don't have the formal training of it, or thank God for YouTube. shout out to YouTube, because there's people out there that'll give you that knowledge for free. And there's a lot of folks out there that still remember what YouTube was originally for, which was to share information and make the world a better place. And there's still people doing that. Mike right here, everybody listening, what better place are you going to go where it's open-minded? Nobody cares what your politics are, because at the end of the day, we're all seeing, hearing, and experiencing the same things. And when you try to make the leap to put politics in it, that's where everything gets lost in translation, because those aren't logical leaps. This is where everybody has to cross the aisle, shake hands, and say, what? WTF, brother, WTF. And when so many people are in denial with the bold-faced evidence and will acknowledge some things but won't acknowledge others, like they're steering you down the the yellow brick road, let's put it that way. They're off to see Oz, but there's something there, like a big global planetary apparatus, and rather than promote the truth, it's trying to deceive us of something. And that's the honest-to-God gut feeling that I've gotten, and it increases day by day as we move forward. That feeling it gets stronger every day. I'm like, there's something coming. I can feel it. What is it?
Yeah.
What are we not seeing here? What's manifesting itself in the collective consciousness of everybody, that people that are separated by 10,000 miles can see the same type of object, experience some of the same things? You know?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's here. This stuff is here, guys. This stuff is here. We're going to continue talking about this. That's what we do on this show. Tim, I can't thank you enough, my friend. If you're going to stick around for the third hour, please do. Yeah. We're finishing up here on the Fringe FM. If you guys are listening on the Fringe FM, stay tuned for Joe Roop, Lighting the Void, and Ryan Gable, The Secret Teachings, right after that fantastic stuff. If you're with us on YouTube, Facebook, DLive, hang tight. We're going to do a third hour. We're going to hear with Tim from Georgia, Tinfoil Timothy University. We're talking UFOs tonight. Still love to hear from you. 702-957-1037. One more time. 702-957-1037. TroubledMinds.org. Everybody out there, be sure, be strong, be true. Thank you for listening. From our Troubled Minds to yours, have a great night. Stay tuned for Joe Roop, Lighting the Void. Kill the music, and let's do it. We are talking UFOs, guys. You guys know this show's about UFOs. This show's about conspiracy. It's about the paranormal. It's about all those things. We are here with Tim from Georgia, Tinfoil Timothy University. We're waiting on bated breath for his podcast, which is coming out. When you get that rolling, please come back. Let me know. And I also want to say this. Once again, thank you for being on the show tonight. But if you need help with any of the audio stuff to get your podcast rolling, if you want me to be on that podcast with you, to start it, to whatever,
sure,
you let me know, bro. You let me know. You got me. You're helping man. Me. I would be thrilled to help you. It goes both ways. So there we go. But yeah, we're talking about UFOs tonight, guys. If you want to be part of the show tonight,
I'm hoping to encourage people to do some science. I'm going to actually talk about simple things people can do, from running an alarm clock off of a cactus, different little simple things like that, making your own homemade batteries. People need to get back in touch with their roots on how to create and repair things, because we see what's going on around us in the world. And my oldest son the other day said, "Dad, state of decay." and where skills are going to be worth more than gold, silver, or money. There's going to come a day when your skills are going to pay off. And science is everything. You know, I was raised like that. Hey, science is everything. It really is. It's math. The sciences are everything. They're so important. It's what holds civilization together. And well, we see the fruits of that labor. We all get to enjoy a lot of technology that people our age didn't grow up with. Younger people today just it's gravy. You have an instant window to the greater world around you that before it came along, you had to open an encyclopedia or an almanac or play Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego to discover about the rest of the world. And that's how it was. So, as like you pointed out earlier, Mike, and it really drove home to me when you said it, now that we have the ability for everybody to go live or take a video or capture decent quality photos, we've had that for 20 years now, but literally in the last few years, we've just seen an explosion. It's an explosion. It's like an atomic bomb of UFOs has gone off, and there's no end in sight. And the volcano, wasn't there one sighted near Volcano that went off the other day? I believe that might have been in Italy. It was hard to read the report, and I couldn't get the translate to go, and sometimes that doesn't work very good. And so I'm catching a few words of Italian I know, and it was taken from a woman's balcony as she's looking. I think maybe it's Vesuvius that's erupting, and she's trying to tell about a UFO that had been sighted just before it had really started burping and flowing some lava good. So I know there's a strong connection between UFOs and volcanic activity, and also places where the military stores nuclear weapons. You have a lot of sightings around those areas. So when you see that stuff on those shows, I know from personal experience, one of my dad's last assignments in the military was Wuschheim Air Station in West Germany, and it was a tactical nuclear missile base. They had mobile tactical nuclear weapons, and their job in the event of war was to roll those things out, and they were mobile, hard to find, and launch them against the Soviet Union. And so we lived a kilometer away in a small German town, which is, just over half a mile, and there was a lot of sightings back then. And people become numb to things. You become comfortably numb. Let me tell you, the whole world has become comfortably numb about some things.
I'm chewing over here, so thank you for giving me a chance to eat. Many times dinner's cooking as we start, so I go hungry. But I got my beer. I got my beer in my tinfoil, so we're good. So we're good to go. Okay.
I know that's right, buddy.
I appreciate that giving me a chance.
We all need to be wrapped in it today with the technology that's being used. It probably wouldn't hurt. I've actually seen lines of clothing come out where the insides of the suits and the jackets, the pockets are now lined to protect your wallet and to protect all your stuff from thieves from using scanners to scan your information.
Exactly.
And a recent experience that happened to me, 6:30 in the morning, I get a phone call. I'm already up. I got coffee making. And it's McAfee Security calling me and telling me, your credit card was just used at a Wawa's in Orlando, Florida, and I can tell you're not there. And I had the coffee to my lips, and let me tell you, I got third-degree burns, man, because I was startled. I know, and we know you're not there, really.
They're like, we know you're on the
exactly
toilet.
Where you're at?
You're on the toilet drinking a coffee. We know where you're at.
Yeah. I'm paying them good money to for LifeBlock and their full services, and you can have them track any of your information, and they will remove it from the dark web for you as well as part of the service. So not only are you getting protection on up to 8 different devices that you own. You can put your social security number on there, your credit card numbers, your debit card number. You put your whole life of important information and numbers in there, and McAfee protected like you wouldn't believe, my friend. And they told me, we already called your bank. I'm going to hang up now. Your bank's going to call you. I didn't make it about 4 steps after they hung up and the phone rang, and it was my bank telling me, we already turned your card off, rescinded the charges. Don't worry about it. You'll have a new one in the mail in about 2 weeks. And that was that. So, with everything going on today, protect yourself.
Yeah, right. And yeah, it's scary, right? All of that stuff. And
yeah.
Geolocations, all that stuff, crazy stuff. Hey guys, we're talking about all the things, of course, conspiracy as always. If you want to be part of the show tonight, we're here with Tim from Georgia. We're just talking UFOs. I'm Mike. This is Tim. This is Troubled Minds, and we're just kicking it, talking about UFOs. If you want to be part of the show tonight and you have a UFO story to tell us, we'd love to hear from you. Again, we can we'll just keep riffing here and just talking about some stuff, but we'd love to hear from you. As Tim said, and I know he agrees 100% because he's been part of the show in the past. He's part of the show right now. He knows the value of an open forum, of putting it out there so that anybody can call in at any time and whatever, right? We've had trolls. I think it's funny, right? So I have people in my life that know, they're like, you know, I'm not totally anonymous. You know, they're like, oh, he's the spooky, you know, he's that guy. He's the guy that goes on the internet and tells ghost stories, right? And everybody assumes that, like, the calls I get are trolls, and it's like 1%. It's unbelievably low. But we have an open line all the time. And you know why? You know why they don't, you know why you don't get trolls? You know why? Because I could just hang up.
Why?
You know, I just hang up.
Yeah.
I could do this stupid radio trick and just hang up on them and then lecture them when they can't talk back. You know what I mean? It's because basically this is my house, right? Because I control that button. And so it's easy to just be like, all right, well, you're going to call and be stupid. I'll just hang up, and that's that, you know? But again, 99% of people that call into the show aren't that at all. They're smart individuals. They're people that love these conversations.
They are.
Yeah, right? It's it's not
Kelly, Todd, everybody. Joe, I mean, Sherry, everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, Pete, everybody that comes in there, everybody's got something to offer, and everybody's, you know, thinking things out before they speak. And rarely do you see a troll in any of the chats, whether it's Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. The occasional one that wanders in goes, what did I walk into? If it is an NSA agent, they're probably going, holy shit, let me get the hell out of here.
Right.
So if it's the paid trolls, I don't care what part of the universe they're from, they go in and they're like, hey, this is actually normal. These people are normal.
Exactly.
And wow, they're all getting along. There's
Exactly.
nobody in here cussing each other out and everybody using cancel culture against each other. Everybody's in here and they're open-minded. You don't see that anywhere else. Right now, you cannot find that. Rare. It's so rare, it's becoming like, you know, finding toilet paper during last year in the summertime. Rare, okay?
It's rare. It's rare.
You're counting sheets, my friend. You're counting sheets and squeezing butt cheeks.
Yeah.
No lie.
Yeah, no, and that's the truth though. So, and that's the thing, right? It's easy. Like, it's an easy thing. I think, and this is the problem. I think based on all that other stuff, the political garbage that they're always doing on the radio and TV and everywhere else, it's because they're dishonest. That's why. You know what I mean? They'll be like, oh, we've got a conservative to dunk on, or we've got a liberal to dunk on. Let's get them on here and make them look like fools. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, wait, that's not honest at all. You know what I mean? That's not a conversation. That's like that's like shitting on people for sport. It's just not
factor.
Cool.
The wow factor ratings. Remember Fear Factor with Joe Rogan?
Yeah. Yep.
You know, it did so well with the ratings because of the wow factor. And he said that back then. He said, you have the wow factor, and that's totally unestimated. It could be the stupidest thing in the world, but if 80% of the people that see it go wow, and it raises their eyebrow, and they go, clown world, party time, excellent, you just sold them on it, and they'll be back for more.
Yeah.
And this is where we see people got involved with something that happened that we all know about and can't really discuss it in too much detail, but let's just put it this way. We see that, and it's kind of all of our duty to help the people that are that far down the rabbit hole climb back out again.
I agree.
And realize there's real stuff and then there's fake stuff. And right now, I was watching the NASA feed today, and the amount of people that were in that feed that are lost and don't understand the real properties of the world and have been so misled. And I know which channels they're watching by the comments they're making. And this is serious, y'all. This is very, sometimes I'll do a Facebook Live for some of my friends, and we discuss things like this. And we talk about UFOs. We talk about a lot of things, but we keep coming back as to the mental health of everybody in the world right now. And that has me concerned. And, but nobody is calling the UFO people bad mental health. It's the other fringes in these other groups that are being labeled that right now. And for a change, nobody's actually mad at the UFO community or trying to put it out of its misery. And that's the first time since, the internet was born for civilian use that we've seen. Nobody's really bothering the UFO community. Everybody's kind of promoting it. And the social media censorship has not really attacked it, you know. If you go to YouTube, some of the bigger channels with the better paying advertisement on there are
Affirmative. I think you disconnected. Let's see. Hold on. That's all right. It's all right. We'll get Tim back here in a sec. But all right. Now this is the thing, guys. Yep, he disconnected. Just call back Tim. We'll put you on the show. No problem. All right. Look, now this is the thing. We're talking about UFOs tonight. So we kind of got a little bit off topic there because we were gushing about how fantastic we are, and only because you can dial this phone number, we can have a discussion, and we don't have to hate each other. Like that's the most important thing, right? That's what we were doing, and it's rare. Just like Tim was saying, it's rare that you have to get on here and you have to, you know what I mean? Everything is so adversarial today. Everything is so this team, that team. You know, you're either with us or you're against us. It's a bunch of garbage, right? It's just not necessary. It's not real life. It's just not. And that's part of the upside down that we talk about, right? This bizarro upside down world of WTF. Like, what's actually going on here? And I think we've done a hell of a job trying to stay true to that vision and getting back to just having a conversation. We can agree, we can disagree, and we can still be friends and have another good conversation next week or tomorrow or the next day. It doesn't matter. These things don't matter, right? But every single thing, if you turn on the mainstream or, you know, again, like the engagement algorithms, you know what that means? It means people fighting with each other. That's what engagement algorithms mean. It means people, again, flinging digital poo at each other. Like that's what this world is about, and that's what it doesn't have to be. It just doesn't have to be. Anyway, long story short, love to hear from you guys tonight. We're talking UFOs. 702-957-1037. If you're out there, Tim, just call back. There you go. He's calling back. We'll put him back on the show. I'm Mike. This is Tim. He's calling back. He just got disconnected, and we're kicking it, guys. Again, I met Tim on this show. He called in for the first time ever and just kind of did his thing. He's starting his own podcast soon, right? These things are important. These things, like, it's not just me, all right? I'm just one voice. I'm literally one freaking voice. That's it, one. So for you, you are also one voice. You understand? It's out there for you. There is a way for you to begin and start telling the world what they need to hear from your perspective. You are also important in this world, and you shouldn't be dunked on. You shouldn't be used as sport for a liberal or a conservative or whatever. You shouldn't be. It's ugly, it's stupid, it's backwards, and it's upside down. One more time, we got Tim. We're going to get back on the line here. We got Beechwood calling right behind him. Anybody else you want to be on the show tonight? We're talking UFOs and the rest of this stuff. 702-957-1037. And let's continue. Let us continue, shall we? Welcome back, Tim. How are you, my friend? You got disconnected.
Hey, Mike. Hey, yeah, I sure did. Hey, if you want to let the other caller come on and go ahead and come on here, man, go right ahead.
No, bro.
Go right ahead,
no,
man.
no. You're the co-host tonight. You're not going anywhere, man. I'm going to bring the caller on. We're going to do a three-way call just like we had with Joe, and we're going to talk about this, all right? This is a legit three-way, you guys, all right? Now, don't get too dirty on us, but here we go. We're going to go legit three-way.
Right.
All right, exactly. All right, Beechwood, you are on with Mike and Tim. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing wonderful, as always. How you doing?
Doing good.
Hey, how are you?
Awesome. I like the story. I saw that story on a few places on like the Facebook feed, and I don't know what it is, but I mean it's definitely a real story. I myself have never gotten like an up close view like the people describe, of seeing like a saucer, but I have seen stuff, you know, in the distance, because I do like a lot of stargazing, and I know if you let your eyes adjust, you can see. They say they're the satellites, and they just go by all night. And like I kind of know the spot where they pass through. But one night, I swear, I saw one take like a right turn, and I don't know if they can do that, but I was just standing out there looking at it, amazed. But I don't know if anybody's ever seen that before. You know, see, because they tell me they're satellites. So, but with the other thing, with the UFO and the plane, it's the big question for me is if it's obviously there, so it's either man-made, there's something driving it, or it's a drone, you know, some type of drone. So that just opens up like three more questions there. But you know, with the way the media reacts, though, like right now with social media, they gather all the information. Basically, we put everything that we know out there. So I'm just wondering if they're trying to see what type of reaction they get from putting stories like that out in the mainstream now. And then what I'm worried about is like just make sure you don't give the government the ability to play Wizard of Oz. So if there's enough people that say, oh, there's aliens, I saw them, the government could say, we're in no control of this, but we could take advantage of it, and we could say, yeah, there are aliens, and they talk to us. They don't talk to the general public. And then people would be like, oh, wow. And it's just more control. Like, because it just seems, in general, it just seems that the media and the government is like, it's like playing chess, and they're 2 steps ahead, and that it just doesn't work. You can't win like that. But you can't find out the truth. I mean, I'm not playing a game. I just want the truth.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Like, how hard is it? Like again, like I said, and everybody knows somebody like this where they lie so much they don't even know what the truth is anymore. You know, but it's not hard. Like as they say, the truth will set you free. And again, that's what this show's about. It's not about we know the truth. It's about we want to know the truth, you know? And if you literally stay in that premise as that premise and just go forward and don't try and deceive anybody for any reason whatsoever, because it's just bad. It's bad. It's bad juju. It's bad karma. It's bad all of those things. Here we are, man. And look at all these amazing people. Yeah.
But so, I noticed like everybody says with the UFOs, what gets me to the most is the sound. That there's no sound. Like just anything that travels through the air really fast makes noise. Like even a baseball, you can hear a baseball whiz by your head. And that people are talking about plane-sized objects. Going. You never hear anybody mention a sonic boom. Breaking the sound barrier. And I went to an air show a long time ago, and I've heard one. I mean, it's loud. Like it was pretty cool. But right now they're definitely there. Like I've noticed. I don't want to say it's a trend because there's always been people interested in it, but it is getting a little trendy. But everybody has a camera now.
Like how everybody became a witch a couple years ago. like that kind of trendy. Everybody's a UFO hunter now.
Everybody was a zombie hunter too. It was great. The zombie trend came and went, and it's. I I noticed on Facebook that it's called the star seed thing, and it's like a meditation thing, and they tell you to relax and meditate, and all the elements that make up the universe are the same, and they would make up your body, so you can trace back to where you come from in the universe. And people have been saying that for a long time, but what they're doing on Facebook now is just people are selling it. And like I go in sometimes and I comment, and they just attack me. But I don't know. I find it interesting.
Yeah, right. The whole culture, the UFO culture, and that whole bit is interesting. Anything for him, Tim? Well, we got him on the line. We got one caller behind you, Beechwood. So we're gonna bump you here to go to the next guy. But anything for him while he's on, Tim, or vice versa? You got anything for Tim Beechwood?
Yeah, he made some really fantastic points, and especially with the sound. That's the biggest thing that stands out. How quiet. And, we got planes today, some of our modern aircraft, when they come out here to the bombing range, you don't hear them till they're on you. But like you said, with UFOs, 99% of all stories, they're quiet. You might hear a hum, or what might sound, people describe as static, traveling across electricity lines. And that's generally about, the type of sounds people hear, if they hear anything at all. And that's something that few shows that I've seen televised on TV get into that, and you homed right in on it, and I'm sure other people have, and that's something to definitely explore. That's something I'm gonna check out myself. I'm gonna pour a little bit of research into that.
And in the same token, too, I don't think I've ever heard anybody mention a smell, like a smell, because basically every story I've heard about UFOs, when they talk about, like the reverse engineering, it all comes down to this, like, anti-gravity technology that doesn't really use fuel, the way we do. And
right,
that seems to be pretty persistent, across the board with people.
Sure does. But I've heard over the years people like Alex Collier describe, when he talks about other alien civilizations, one in particular that uses a gel-like substance from their home planet as a fuel source. And when you listen to some of these well-educated people that have been talking about this stuff and doing seminars for 30, 40 years, talking about these alien races and different things, you may be skeptical at first, but when you watch videos of this guy 25 and 30 years ago saying, hey, in 2020, there's going to be an explosion of UFO sightings. There's going to be people wearing masks. There's going to be a virus. And you're like, huh? What did that guy just say? What did he just say? And
they put you in the padded room in a straitjacket. Yeah. You're crazy.
Yeah. But the other night, I played some reruns of Conspiracy Theory. Do you remember that show, Conspiracy Theory, on True TV with Jesse Ventura?
Yeah.
I played some reruns of it on Facebook Watch Party. People couldn't believe there was a doctor on there that flat out told Governor Ventura, look, sometime in the near future, this is what's going to happen. And we're witnessing it right now. These people that came on that program, 2009 to 2011, we're watching it all take place.
Yeah, it's happening. This is all real. Hey, Beechwood, we're going to go to Game Vet behind you. I appreciate the call, my friend. Thank you for listening. Thanks for contributing. Thanks for being enthusiastic. Thanks for being you. Have a great night.
All right, man. Thank you. I'll talk to you later.
Thanks, bro. Thanks, bro. Talk to you soon. There you go. Look at all the smart people that call into this show. All the smart people. Let's go to the next smart person. What's up, Game Vet 02? You were on with Tim and Mike. How are you, my friend?
Hey, good. How you doing?
Doing good. What's on your mind today?
Excuse me. Yeah, I heard Beechwood talking about seeing some sort of a dot or something. What was he saying?
No.
He said something about a satellite or something moving funny.
Yeah, no. He was like mostly there. He was talking about the sonic booms and the rest of that. That's what I get out of it. But I'm doing 5 things at a time, so you'll have to excuse me. But what's on your mind? Let's go there. So don't make me recap, man. If you make me recap, we'll just have a big fail. So let's just go with you.
Yeah, we're gonna have a big party on here, big party line. Okay, so the other day, I don't recall what day it was exactly. I think it was like 2 days ago. I was driving back from picking up my daughter from daycare, and it was about 4 in the afternoon. And I was on the 2-lane road headed towards the house, and it's right across the field from where I saw this one craft. And all of a sudden, from my right, traveling to the left, it was some craft just flying along, the sky, and it looked like the size of a passenger jet, but it was like a quarter of its length. So it was either a tube or a saucer, but it didn't have like a bump on the top. It almost looked like a tube. It was real close to it was real close to the date where they had the sighting of the plane. And this is up in Minnesota. But I wanted to mention that.
Yeah, you've seen some pretty interesting things
territory.
out there. Oh, yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Tim. Go ahead.
What's that?
Minnesota's UFO territory. There's a lot of sightings, man.
Yeah,
I mean, it is like UFO stomping grounds, brother.
Yeah, we don't really have like a huge Air Force base. And I think that might be why, because there's all sorts of fields and there's more open land than anything else. But yeah, I wanted to mention that sighting, and then also a couple of years ago, I was driving for work, and I was out in Wisconsin. With a weird Wisconsin story, I ran into these. They're called Bet Spears. I'm sure you guys heard of them before. They're like a basketball stainless steel orb spear type thing. Okay, well, me and a coworker witnessed these things, and they were actually hovering over the center median where the cops sit in between the highways. There was three of them up on top, and then 2 on the bottom, and they were all evenly spaced. And the 2 on the bottom were in the ups, I guess, in between the spaces of the 3 top ones. So I happened to drive by, and I'm like, what the heck was that? And I saw it out of the corner of my eye. And then about 20 minutes later, my coworker was driving along the same road, and he saw the same exact thing. And, yeah, those things, they do actually fly. They hover. A couple weeks after that, there was 2 of them that were flying directly on my right side, on the passenger side window here. They were just outside the window, keeping up with me, keeping pace with the truck. I was going 65 miles an hour down the highway, and all of a sudden I saw something in the corner of my eye, and it looked like somebody was sitting in the passenger seat. So I turned over real quick, and 2 of those things were right there. Then all of a sudden they just started speeding up, and then they went across the front of my truck. Basically turned left, went in front of the truck, and then zipped off, and they were gone.
Holy shit. Actually in the passenger seat? Actually in your seat next to you?
No, nobody's in the seat next to me. I just, I saw like this round thing sitting right next to me, and I'm like, who the hell is sitting over here? And then I saw the orb on the outside of the window, and it was actually hovering or traveling right alongside. It was either right above the shoulder, in the middle of the shoulder, or just off to the side of the shoulder. And then the one was right there, and then the one was kind of back just a little bit, and just behind the one that was like right next to me.
That's nuts. Hey, so this is the thing, right? Everybody that doesn't know, this is GameVet02 on YouTube. Follow him on YouTube. He's a truck driver, and he has dash cams running, and he's got actual footage of UFOs. You can go check this stuff out, like real stuff. I got a question for you, man. Have you ever done any kind of like hypnotic regression? Because it seems like you are the hot spot. You know what I mean? It's like they're kind of coming into contact you in some case.
I've actually talked to quite a few, what do you call them? Shoot. I'm sorry, I'm trying to think. I've actually talked to a couple people, not hypnotists, but what do you call them? I don't know. Psychics, okay? I talked to a couple psychics, and they actually said that when they read me, they said that for some reason all these energies are drawn towards me, like I'm like a lighthouse.
Okay, that kind of makes sense, right? Because some people,
3 of them.
That makes sense because some people go their whole lives and don't ever see anything, and you're literally catching stuff on camera all the time. You've got sightings all the time.
Yeah, and I honestly just started recording this stuff, and I plan to do more. It's just been so cold up here, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So this has been
when it gets warmer, I'm gonna start recording.
Yeah, definitely. Like Sherry says in the chat, sounds aggressive. Like they're kind of coming after you in some capacity. So yeah.
I mean that was the closest I've ever seen them. I mean they were right there. I mean you can't get any more close than there.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. So okay, so again, right? Like, look, sane people see these things all the time. And again, like I said, I'm going to link this again and scroll through this again. That UFO reporting center, it's hundreds and hundreds and thousands of cases. Like you can sort by months and years and everything else. It's unbelievable. People are seeing crazy things in the sky all the time, and here we are just talking about it. You got anything for Tim while you're on the line? Game Vet?
No, I enjoyed listening to his stories and stuff like that. I love this stuff. And I want to say too about the reporting centers. You know, not everybody reports to that center, because I don't know if you've ever seen one of those reports they have to fill out. I filled out one for MUFON, and I swear to God, it took me 2 hours to fill out. I mean, you know, people look at those reports and say, "Oh my God, I don't want to fill this thing out." I mean, they're huge.
Yeah, so you got to figure like even the huge numbers we're seeing in some of these databases are just a fraction because people bounce. They don't have time for that. They're like, forget it, you know. Like,
right.
I'll put it on the YouTube channel. All right, man.
Yeah, again, that's where I'm going with that. I don't report anything anymore. I just go to my channel on YouTube or whatever. I'm not promoting my channel. I don't want to seem like I'm calling in for that. I just, you know. I get more people listening in on your show than anybody. You know, I'd rather share it with you or, you know, other people that can get the word out. I'm all about telling everybody about what's going on versus, you know, try to promote my channel. I mean, it's a small channel. I put stuff out there for people to hear it, but I mean, more people are going to hear it from your show and, you know, different ones. So I'd rather do it that way.
No, you're totally right. Like I understand, but I understand that you have a channel, and I want people to know where they can go find your stuff. So that's all. I'm promoting your channel. I know it's not like that. I know it's not like that. Quick comment while we got you on the line before we move on here. Sean in the chat says, Mike, tell this truck driver he needs a high power laser beam to make contact with them. So there you go. There you go.
That can be bad, though.
That can be bad.
I've heard a lot of stuff that if you start playing around with that stuff, you can. I mean, they don't. I heard that they don't like it. Honestly, they don't like the lasers, and you know.
Yeah, it definitely evokes a reaction.
Good coming from it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we're going to keep on rolling here. Again, GameVet02 on YouTube, guys. Go follow him. He's not here to promote this. He never brought it up one time. I did every time. You're the best, man. Keep calling. Keep looking at the stars, man. Keep looking. Keep getting us footage. You're the best. Thanks for calling in tonight.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, bro. Talk to you soon. There you go. All right. We got another call behind that just coming in right now. So do you want to, what's your take on that, Tim? You see that? He had like some sort of like, as Sherry described, like an aggressive orb, kind of multiple orbs right there as he's driving his truck down the road in the passenger seat. What the hell, right?
I know, right? I tell you what, invest in a flamethrower, brother. I am definitely going to be subscribing to his channel. I've done some driving out there myself, man, and I tell you what, we've got a beautiful country, and you're going to see some amazing things out there, especially when you're crossing the continental divides and you're up there 14,000 feet up in the mountains, and you're looking out on a nice day when there's no weather to kill the visibility. What a world, man! What a world.
Agreed. I'm still chewing. All right, we got a call right behind you. So let's go to this call. This is sorry. Chewing in a microphone is seriously bad. I'm sorry, guys. All right, I'm just hungry. Here we go. We are going we're here. This is Troubled Minds. I'm Mike. This is Tim. We're hanging out talking UFOs tonight. We want to hear your stories, guys. I try and choke down this food. Okay. So this is the thing.
It could have been Todd and the Anunnaki too.
Yeah.
I have given that a lot of thought.
Yeah. It could have been a lot of things, and that's exactly the point, right? So the open forum is we want to hear from you guys. We want to hear about what's going on with the rest of you. Oh, Game Vet 02. Derek says, "What's his channel?" Game Vet VET. Game Vet 02. 02. Pretty sure it's 02. If I'm wrong there, just go to our YouTube channel and scroll down to the bottom. I've got him linked there. He's right there on the bottom as a suggested channel, as a favorite channel or whatever. So you can go find him right there. He's got some good stuff on his channel. We've actually played some on this show, some of his actual UFO footage, and I'm telling you, it's as compelling as anything I've ever seen. So he definitely has good stuff out there. He's not here to promote things, and he's just trying to share the information and get the word out, very much like we are, right? If it happens to be that we become famous as a result, fine. But we're just not making shit up, trying to lie to people. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. I don't have to tell you over and over again. Here we go. Let's go to Jay in New York, and let's do it. What's up, Jay? You're on Troubled Minds with Mike and Tim. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, I Game Vet kind of had me going there for a minute, because I told you before about doing the ghost hunter trips in the Masonic Temple that I had there and stuff like that. And that's what they was orbs. Are they ghosts or are they aliens? Are they, flying around like that? I mean, you listen to
Great question.
Show for today. You guys have hit all the boundaries today. You start putting it all. Let's start putting it all together, and not worry about the black magic marker on the redacted file that we got. But there was something following a jet the other day. Okay, the other day, and it was on the local news, and the FAA said call the FBI if you want to comment about it. Okay, that's odd, right? Odd.
That's a little odd.
What was it? Well, we don't know.
Exactly.
Well, why don't you? I mean, it's not on a satellite. Was it cloaked that good that the people on the airplane could get a picture of it with their telephone, but you couldn't see it on the satellite? Let's, start releasing some of that data before they have a chance to get the black magic marker after it. Where are they going? Where'd they land?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
The joke that I made earlier in the chat, they're clones that Yoda came back with, and all the guys that are playing Call of Duty or Grand Theft Auto or whatever are going to be the guys that have to control them because they're brainless, because they're just clones.
Exactly.
Hey, there's only 200,000 of them on a ship.
There you go.
Here?
There you go. Hey, Tim, can you give us your take on the orbs, aliens versus ghosts? Can you you take this over and give us your thought on that?
Sure. I tell you what, that is a heck of a subject. I got to kind of refer to Dr. Stephen Greer on the orbs. Some of the best explanations I've seen have come from him. And I tend to want to go to the science of this and say that it's not from so much as the spiritual world, even though we might see it and it manifests like that, our impressions of it. But I think there are some properties, physical properties and scientific properties that we don't understand yet. And Earth is like an engine. It's like a big Tesla coil. And it would kind of seem to me as we experiment with different things on a larger and larger scale, we have seen a larger occurrence of these events, specifically the orbs. Since we've been operating certain kinds of technology, we have seen an increase of orb sightings and activity. It used to be people would see them, they didn't move very much. Now people are experiencing where they move around them. They'll be in a grassy field or something, and the orb will come up and actually follow them around. I read an account here a while back, a lady and her husband out walking the dog on their property and encountered some orbs. And it was the same thing. And at first they felt sort of frightened, but then she said that she felt real comfortable and that it felt like it was a natural experience. That has my curiosity, because I would like to talk to more people.
When I saw them and they were there and stuff like that, I was kind of comforted. But some of the people that were on the ghost hunting trips and stuff like that when we did it, I have a DVD that I'm trying to send to a post office box somewhere from my tiny shot. But some people were really freaked about it, and some people were just kind of like, wow. It was a comforting feeling when that happened. You know, because when the ghost hunters come, they do a gigantic debunking of themselves. You know, it wasn't the tractor trailer driving by using his Jake brakes or whatever.
Right, sure.
So they're trying hard to get about it, but the guys that had more of the electromagnetic pickups and stuff like that seemed to get more. But did they get more because they had all that stuff? You know, is he getting this stuff in his truck because he's got all the stuff and he's looking for him, and they know he's looking for him, so they'll give him a little, you know, the booby shot on Reddit, you know, basically.
Right, that could be.
You know, it's like, you really want to look for us? Right. You know, we're done dealing with your government too. 99% of y'all are smart because they're a bunch of idiots. All of them, both sides of the fence, you know?
It goes to what you were saying about, like, the drones, like using people as drones. These orbs, how do we know somebody is at remote control and that is a exploratory device?
Is this an A guy or a B guy? Does he like us? He feel comfort? Not afraid? Or was he scared and terrified? So A guys go on this list, B guys go on this list. The guy that's up there controlling the orb enters into his little AI program, and it runs while he's running around to the next group of people. You know?
Sure.
How far down the rabbit hole have we really climbed? You know? Do we need to be digging holes? That little comment you made about learn. Whatever it is, you can learn, because knowledge is going to be the only thing that's power.
That's true.
That's
true.
Man.
Yep.
Can you fix a truck? Can you fix your own saw?
I put myself in the shoes of the alien or advanced person that would be operating that probe here, and I would seek out people that are friendly and were out looking, that did have instruments that would be detecting what we're doing. Those are the people that you would contact. You wouldn't go looking for isolated people unless you had intentions you didn't want anybody to know about. So if they're exploring and that's the case, you would definitely want to contact people that are friendly to the event and are looking for the event. And so what you said there struck a nerve, and I think you're right. I think you hit on something very important. If you don't go looking for it, you're never going to find it. And that works both ways, from their perspective and ours, when you start plugging those bits and pieces of information into the equation A to Z. It's there, you know.
Well, yeah, it comes down to the simple reporting of a thing that they teach you when you take your first journalism class in 7th grade or something for the writing credit. You know, who, what, when, where.
Yep, the 5 W's, man.
Yep. You know, what's going on here? It's Just tell us.
I apply that to everything. I look at it.
You know,
Sure.
We should be allowed to know, you know? I mean, sooner or later we're going to find out when the city-sized thing comes down and blows up, you know, San Francisco, and then Will Smith gets in his plane and goes up there with the drunk guy and takes him out.
Welcome to Earth.
But yeah. Well, I mean, is it going to come to that? Is that what we're looking at? You know, is the reason why? Okay,
right.
damn it, we better give Iran some nuclear power, because what if they're the last man standing?
Yeah,
that's
you know?
right.
Yeah,
you never know.
I mean, let's go back into all the things we've talked about. You know, training people with video games and you know, ghosts and all that. I mean, are we really just like desensitizing ourselves? Because okay, look, y'all, the generation that's going to have to fight the war with the aliens, and it's going to be nasty.
It's gonna suck. Jay, we got a call behind you. You were the best, my friend. Thank you for calling tonight, okay? God bless you and the family. Stay safe.
Awesome call, man.
Thank you for listening.
Yes, I like your show, man. I like the show. Put it in the chat if you could, please.
It's when he hasn't started it. When he does, I promise we'll get him back on the show and we'll plug it so you guys know where to find him.
All right.
Thanks, Jay.
That's
Thanks.
cool.
That's
Like
Jay
me.
from New York. There you go. I cut him off. I'm sorry about that. But look, this is the thing. I'm human. I should have given you an extra 3 seconds and I didn't. Jay from New York, thanks for the call, my man. You guys are the best. You guys with your calls. Look, and this is the thing. Like, I know some of you are like hesitant. You're like, well, I called last night. I feel weird about calling again. Call again. It's okay. Right? So if you call too much, just follow my lead. I'll give you 3 minutes. You know what I mean? Like I'll kind of shorten your time because you call a lot. You know what I mean? It's fine. I'm not going to run you off the show. I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you have to say. Don't feel weird about calling back again. Right? All right. Just there you go. Just FYI. All right. Here we go. Speaking of calls, let's go to our oldest school caller there is. We got two of our oldest schools listening to this show. We got Kelly and we got Tim. What's up, Kelly? How are you tonight?
Hey, Kelly.
What's on there, fellas? How you doing?
All right.
Doing good, man. What is on your mind?
Well, I'm just calling up for the show tonight about UFOs.
So what's your hot take? I know you got a hot take, Kelly. I know you got a hot take, Kelly. Come on. Hit us with it, man.
I just want to go back to history. You know, if you talk about UFOs, people say, well, no one's ever seen a UFO, blah, blah, blah. But if you go back to history, you got
sure
history talking about it. Ancient Indians talking about Vimanas. You got, like the flying serpents of South America. That's maybe that craft was like leaving a smoke streak, across the sky, kind of like our airplanes do, and it kind of they would probably say it was a flying serpent or something. Or you have just different mixtures of cultures and stuff that's been around. I mean, you got drawings of that was in wood over in Germany where they're talking about UFOs that were fighting in the air, crashing in the sky, crashing in the ground. They even have video or a sketch of it, that's in that piece of wood. Now
that's funny.
I would just go ahead.
It's funny you mentioned Germany about sightings and bringing up UFOs and stuff from the past. There's a famous monastery there called Virsa Heiligen, and several famous artists back in the day, including I think one of them was Michelangelo, did the ceilings and the walls and the frescoes in that monastery. And one of the scenes in the middle, when you look up, if that's not a UFO as related from one of the stories in the Bible, I will eat my hat, my friend. It's exactly what it is. They depicted it, and I remember on the field trip there, we were all talking about it. Every tourist that came in there, I don't care where they were from, what language they were speaking, were looking up and pointing up, and people, it was, to this day, it's a controversy. What was he trying to relate to everybody in painting that? And when you look at history, artists would get in trouble with the church and the Vatican for presenting things that they didn't like. And That's why this UFO sighting that Mike has brought to everybody's attention harder than anybody else out there is so important. Is because nobody's really, we got the FBI doing its thing as usual, but nobody else is attacking this like normal. There's not the major players there trying to work off of this. And I have not seen Tom DeLonge or anybody else like that really talking about this. Everybody's gave this a moment of pause before getting into it, and there's got to be a reason why.
Actually, one sec. Let me interject.
There's got to be a reason why.
Thank you for that. That's nice of you. Not entirely true. I've got a statement here from Lou Elizondo. Here we go. This is from actually, I didn't get it, of course, because nobody listens to me just yet. But George Knapp got it on MysteryWire.com, and he actually got a statement from Lou Elizondo on this exact sighting. So hold on, linking this in the chat, and you guys can check it out. I'm going to read it to you guys real fast, just to not to undermine you there. I just want to make sure we have the facts straight with this as far as the information we have at this point.
Yeah, right on. I was not aware of that.
No problem.
Absolutely.
I was trying to find it myself, and it's not just this. As new information hits, and it's sloppy, right? Like sometimes a quote new article comes out, and it's not really new. You know what I mean? It's like information from 2 days ago. So trying to figure this shit out is a little bit sloppy. It's just real fast. This is from the MysteryWire.com, which is George Knapp's website, and this is the quote from Lou Elizondo about this particular thing. Quote: "The fact is, this incident once again demonstrates that we simply don't know what's in our skies," Elizondo told Mystery Wire earlier today. "Whether the object was a genuine UAP or something more conventional, this was a serious air safety issue for an airline carrying so many passengers." He continues, "It is further proof that U.S. airspace domain remains vulnerable." And there we go. That's his quote. So as up to the date as I could get it tonight. You guys know me. I like to get as much information as I could get. Sometimes we only talk about 3 or 4 or 5 links, and I've got like 20. So I just want to make sure that we added that in there. Sorry, go right ahead. Go right ahead, guys. You guys are doing great. I'm just here eating Chinese food and drinking beer. Just wanted to get that in there.
It sounds like he's listening to the show.
It kind of does, right? It kind of does. So, Kelly, you did...
I wanted to get into some of what was interesting, what caught my attention was what the description of it. It was the pilot was saying that it was a cylindrical, and he thought maybe it was, looked like a shape of a rocket. But those cylindrical type UFOs have been filmed in space all around, the atmosphere, and also in our atmosphere we could see through the clouds coming out of the water. There's a famous one that's emerging in front of an aircraft carrier out of the ocean. I actually sent some of those pictures to the Discord chat section. But anyway, they also, those things, those type shape would look pretty crazy because, if you really think about it, anti-gravity, it doesn't really matter what shape it is. You know what I'm saying? It could be triangle, square. I mean, there's been UFOs videotaped like coming out of clouds that are shaped like a square down in Florida. You have ones that are shaped like triangles, like even actually an upside down triangle coming down as well. So if you're thinking anti-gravity, it doesn't really, I mean, I could see the cylindrical shape, you know what I mean? There's also stories that there could be, troop carriers for the deep state space program that we got. But what's interesting is they're also being filmed going in and out of volcanoes over in Mexico. And now there's a guy, he's a physicist named Nassim Herman. He was, his main thing was like string theory, or even like the vacuum of space going into a black hole. And he's saying that if you can bring, if you had like an engine in a spaceship and you can bring it into a string theory, or like a jump engine into a string, as a string theory. So you got a string theory going into a string theory that, you could jump from galaxy to galaxy. One of them, he says, actually, that you can use is where you see actually on the Soho videos or the satellites is things jumping into the sun. And he's claiming that you can jump into like those dark spots. And he's got video. I can post the video later on and the link on it, and he'll explain it all. But when these things are jumping through the black spots on the sun, it's actually shooting out. And when they shows it too, you can actually see where the sun flare is shooting out on the opposite side. Because if you got one black hole, you got one on the other side, is what he's saying. But like also in like the volcano over in Mexico, he's saying that that's another thing you can use as a jump gate. And it was crazy is if you watch that video, because it is a volcano, Mexico has always got a live video feed on that thing. You see them come and going all the time.
I've seen those actually.
That reminds.
Go ahead, Tim.
That kind of reminds me of K-Pax. Do you remember K-Pax with Kevin Spacey? And that was supposed to be based on some real events that occurred. The guy was in like a mental institution or whatever, and he disappeared from the room, and they don't know where he went. And people believe that he was an alien here in human form, and he used some kind of way of looking at the sun and the light of the sun travel. There was, I think people actually did some books about that. I'll have to do a little bit of research on that on another time, but I vaguely remember that when you said the sun, talking about the sun, there were some important lines talked about in that movie where he's telling things, and Kevin Spacey really gets in character, and he really worked hard on that role like it meant something to him. And that kind of tells me that, high-profile characters believe in this stuff. And it just can't be denied anymore. Here we are.
Yeah, I think the term from K-Pax actually was he left on a beam of light, like a beam of sunlight. It was something like that. K-Pax is fantastic. It's one of those weird, bizarre movies, but it definitely has. They say it was based on roughly a true story. I think they ripped that off from Betty and Barney Hill, because remember they had like the star map that they knew without actually knowing type of thing. I don't know. I don't know exactly if there was I think they ripped it off and kind of like sensationalized the Betty and Barney Hill thing, but I don't know. I can't be sure. But go ahead, guys. You're doing great.
Right.
We got a few minutes left, so go ahead and wind this up. What's up, Kelly? Let's finish this up, my man.
All right. Let me just with that, just so to add on top of that was so everybody the sun, right? So if they're using that, if you even go back to history, there's a lot of everybody's tracking the sun. Everybody had sun gods to Egypt. You know what I mean? And even the one that when they went to Aten, which is the sun god, right? He came down and he was actually that Egyptian pharaoh. He wasn't even look like any of the ones that are like supposed to be. He wanted to be sculptured as his true shape was like big hips, long head, like elongated, long jaw. He didn't look like the other ones were they're called masculine or shit like that. So that could be another thing with the whole sun thing, but. Anyway, I just wanted to get real quick to the orbs. Now, for me, I believe orbs could be like a drone that these people send down.
Just real quick, Kelly.
I'm sorry?
Real quick, let me cut in. What I mean, wind it up. Yeah. If it takes 5 minutes or it takes 20 minutes, it doesn't matter. Like, you don't have to rush. I'm just saying, let's start aiming toward that. Okay. So don't feel like you have to rush, okay? Because we have no radio clock. Okay. Nobody's telling us what to do. We're grown men, grown people having a conversation. Take your time, my friend. I don't want to rush you like that. Okay, so go right ahead.
All right. Okay, well, let me slow it down then. All right. So, I just wanted to get to like I said, the orbs. So, like the Bet sphere and stuff, something that size, let's say, or like even the stories that we're talking about, like the people that you were talking about, Tim, that they were walking through a park or something, and they, these things came up to them. Now, if you look back so what I do is like when I hear stuff like that, right, I go into research as that kind of reminds me of what people would talk about in history. So what would that be? Could be either two things, it'd be like what people would probably even claim that those things were fairies, they could be something that flew up. They didn't ever see them. They thought that it was like at night, you know, they showed up in the light, they kind of like followed them around, you know what I mean? Something like that. Or it could be that it's a small craft and these, you know, maybe these creatures that are flying these things are smaller, because, you know, these people that are saying that they're fairies, because they're even claiming that these things are small, you know what I mean? They got wings or whatnot. But if they're flying around and you can see, you know, say you can see them through their ship or something, maybe that's another theory that could be that it. But, you know, you think about, again, like I go through history with some of these UFO things that people talk about, you know. Like, again, you know, the flying vimanas, or, you know, anything like the, you know, the first religion that was over in Iran, which is, you know, a Hudo Mazda came down in a flying wing craft, but it's actually a sun disk in the middle as well. So there's the whole symbolism of sun again. But yeah, so even UFOs, like those cylindrical UFOs, were also, you know, over, like you were saying, over nuclear missile sites. And from what I gathered, that they're even shutting missiles down. You know, they have the ability, not only us, but Russia as well. So those things doesn't even want us playing. We're like kids playing with big toys that we shouldn't be, you know. They're watching.
Go ahead, Tim.
Has anybody caught the Tribes of Europa on Netflix yet?
I have not. Negative.
You need to take a little time and just read what it's about, even if you don't take the time to watch a few of the episodes. You're going to hit the floor when you see the theme of it, you know, discounting the tribes themselves. But basically, it's the year 2074, and they have let the world population fall, and everything is overgrown again. And what's left of the last few people are in tribes scattered throughout the world. And you see the Atlanteans, and they have flying craft. And the story kind of revolves around a piece of Atlantean technology in the first season that a young boy ends up coming into possession with. And he gets scanned by it, and so only he can access it. And so what you realize is the theme of this is that extraterrestrials, or these Atlantean, you know, human beings that are far more advanced than us, have probably been here the whole entire time, manipulating the civilization of the Earth. And so it's the theme of it. You know, when I watch stuff, I leave politics out of it, and I try to appreciate all cinema and theater for what it is, and people's talents and artistic abilities, and just try to judge it that way. But this here is going to hit home for a lot of people when they watch it, and they're going to go, wow. And all the stuff that we talk about in the chat rooms for Troubled Mind Radios here over the years, the different subjects that have popped up, you're going to find them in the symbology of this stuff in this show. And the people behind it have really sat down and done their homework. They really have. It's food for thought, people. And you're going to say, wow, wonder if this really is what's going on. And like I said, it's trending with more and more people to say, are our leaders under some kind of alien influence? What's going on here? Is the world uniting for a common cause, and we're not told what that common cause is, you know? So that's kind of where I'm at with it now, is there's definitely questions that have to be answered, and answered pretty soon, or civilization's going to tear itself apart, my friend. It's not far. What's the old saying? You're 9 meals away from disaster. That's 3 days worth of food. 3 meals a day for 3 days. It's what the average family has in their home. And after that, it's anarchy, chaos. People are eating each other in a month. And the Tribes of Europa kind of hit that home to you, what life would be like in the near future under this United Nations agenda. And this fits into the UFO thing. That's why I bring it up, because for those people in the near future, in the year 2074, for the young children, they see this thing and it's a UFO. Those are aliens. You see what I'm saying? So I think throughout history, people have seen stuff. And it was taboo to say anything or report it back when paper was very scarce, very expensive to make. Very few people were literate throughout the centuries. And literacy rates, as they have increased, we see a propensity for literate people to start writing and telling the stories and passing them down through poems and music, too, throughout the years, of events that take place that can't be explained. And as literacy rates today are, 80, 90, and in some European countries, it's basically 100%. That's just in the last century that's come about. And as those literacy rates have gone up and education rates have gone up, technology is more readily available for everybody to use and portable. Then we see that it's there. It's the big elephant in the room, and nobody wants to let the mouse out. So we gotta, just kind of sit back and speculate, like Mike says, and try to come up with the best possible answer that we can based on the evidence we can. And as the dynamic change, we have to change with it, correct things, go back and say, hey, we were wrong about this.
Exactly right.
Tell you.
Hey guys, we need to rally the troops. So let's finish this up. We got apparently Joe Roop of Lighting the Void. His guest didn't show up, so they're looking for they're doing just random topics and taking random callers. Anybody interested in calling Joe Roop and being on Fringe FM again? Anybody interested? I'm posting the phone number if anybody's interested. I'm going to call in as soon as we're done here just to help him out, help a brother out, because I know what it's like when somebody doesn't show up and you're expecting it. It sucks.
Sure.
So if anybody's
Mike,
interested,
go right ahead, man. We'll let you go so you can back him up, man. That's not a big deal.
Yeah, there you go. I'm putting a number up if you guys want to help him out. I don't want to cut you off, Kelly. Let's finish this up. Your final thought tonight, my man.
Nah, just my final thoughts is just that they've been around, they have been around, there's even like the Sumerian stories, like if you're, there's one thing you're talking about cinema real quick, Tim, was like, how come no one's never created the greatest movie ever with, about the Sumerian story? You know what I mean? Because that is the first writing known to man, that's why one thing I've heard that sometimes some people, there was a director that maybe wanted to start it, but never got to do that. But, another thing too, just real quick, is UFOs. I think there's underwater. I've seen in the chat, somebody was talking about they're in the oceans, and they are, you know what I mean? Like I said, I was in the Navy, and we have the only ships, we're the only ones really got the ships that could, traverse the vast oceans, you know what I mean, with the nuclear power engines, but we still need to be close to shore, you know what I mean, because we got 5,000 people, men and women, that are on these aircraft carriers that need to be fed. You can only be out there for so long. So, you got what they call shipping lanes, but the best place for these people to hide is be in the ocean. You would really think about it, you know what I mean? We got satellites and all this other stuff that we can, look at all parts of the Google Earth, for example. We can look at all of that. Yes, they can block stuff out, but you really don't want to be seen. It'd be the oceans, I would say, because, you could lift the whole fucking city up out of there and not even no one see it. But other than that, just want to say that they've been here. All I got to do is look back to history. It tells you. It's always going to repeat, but hopefully everybody does change. And I always believe in the better than all the doom and gloom, but everybody just take care of yourself and have a good night.
Amen, brother. You too. You too.
Man.
I gotta say before you guys go, I'm geeking out. We got old school Kelly, we got old school Tim on the line at the same time. I can't thank you guys enough for being enthusiastic about the show, calling in, sharing your thoughts, being brave about the things that people aren't brave about, and wanting to get the information out there. Thank you so much to both of you guys. I am a big fan of both of you, and thank you so much. Thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Mike.
We're going to Lighting the Void. I'm gonna go jump on that show because why the hell not? Back on the Fringe FM, guys. If you guys you want overtime, let's see if we can get overtime. Thanks for the call. Thanks for the call, Tim. Thanks for the call, Kelly. You guys have a great night. Have a great night. Let's finish this up. Kelly, thanks again, my friend. All right. Done here. Wait, we got Xavier calling in. All right, we got one more call. Look, I can't cut the call off. We're gonna do this. We're gonna finish this up if he actually gets through the screening process. We're gonna do this. Timothy, again, thank you, my man. I can't thank you enough for being on the show tonight. And there you go. Let's see. Did he do it? Did he get through? Xavier's through. All right, so we're gonna take this phone call and then we're gonna jump over to. I'm gonna jump over to Lighting the Void. If he'll take my call, I don't know. But anyway. There you go. If you guys want additional time, that's what we'll be doing over there. So here we go. Let's go to Xavier, and let's do it. Press the talk button, and then we'll finish this up. What's up, my friend? You're on Trouble Minds with Mike. Xavier, correct?
Hey, thanks for yeah. You said it right. Thanks for having me.
Right on. Thanks for being on the show. What's on your mind tonight?
Yeah, so I've been following conspiracies and whatnot for 20 plus years or whatever, and they get dark and scary and whatnot and all that stuff. But like among these things that I follow might be like celebrity death hoaxes, these kinds of things, and totally like a couple of very popular people are definitely, in my opinion, definitely still alive out there. And I happened to come across one, and I don't, I've kind of mentioned it to a couple of people, and that I had this like kind of interaction with him because I happened to come across a way of contacting this person, and I wasn't really expecting anything back, but they completely wrote back to me, and it was just a very cool experience. But basically. And I don't know if I should like say names or anything like that, because these people like still want to be left alone, and I think that's why they have their covers or whatever, why they're doing what they're doing, but they kind of make it a little bit obvious, I think, for people that are interested or something. So the whole thing is very weird. One of the things that shocked me was how many people I think actually kind of know about this, but there's this person that I'm thinking of, or that I'm really kind of talking about. He's like, he's right up there with the Beatles, and in terms of like
I see
popularity and that kind of thing.
Okay.
And
all right, I think I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So I've just, growing up and whatnot, in the South, and playing in bands and being a cool guy or whatever, this guy was like always like kind of a inspiration or whatever, but, all the footage and music and all that stuff is like from a long time ago, and growing up, you don't really think you're going to, it just seems so far away, so ancient, but then to kind of, anyway, but I'm kind of getting sidetracked. But basically, like, so I kind of, I don't want to feel like I know this person at all, but definitely, like, you sort of know specific mannerisms and cadences, that kind of thing. So anyway, so this person, I was like, it took me a while. I came across this a couple years ago, and people were like, "Oh, that's not him," whatever. And I was like, yeah, maybe not, And but I started getting more into this person's like background and kind of everything they did while they were alive. And I'm sorry.
I'm here. I'm just listening. I'm listening.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you were. So I just got into their background and everything they were sort of involved in and stood for, and who they knew. I mean, I was going to say they even knew the president, but that's later on. But speaking of actually, but this person also I saw at a Trump rally, like the way they look now, you know what I mean? Like they were behind him, and it's clear as day that this is the same person, you know. And anyway, it's just very cool. And but I think, you know, I mean, a part of me after having this interaction with him makes me think that he kind of wants some people to know, you know, and maybe people that don't know or don't think it's possible at all. I think he would want them to know as well that maybe he's still alive or something like that. Because when I, you know, had this interaction and when I finally realized it was him, you know, then, you know, I was filled with all kinds of inspiration, you know, and I'm still like on an inspiration high. And this was like a week and a half ago, you know. But anyway, I guess like moral of the story is to you know, kind of keep digging, you know, no matter who you are, what you're interested in, and you'll be just amazed at, you know, what you'll uncover and how long a lot of like-minded people have been involved in things like just research and trying to do good for humanity, really, and how those people come under threat for really exposing bad guys. You know, I mean, there's no other way around it. You're going to point out some bad people doing bad things, and they're going to want to come after you, you know? But anyway, that's mostly all I got to say. But it's just very cool, and it's really wild, because this person is totally into the same kinds of things that, you know, deep researchers are into, you know?
Okay, let me ask you real quick before you go. So you're saying that there's a celebrity that has been, quote, passed away, that you have had contact with in some capacity, that is actually not passed away, is still alive, and you saw this person at a Trump rally recently? Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. I'm not sure when the rally was. I think probably a couple of years ago.
Okay. So it wasn't.
He's been doing so many, you know. Yeah.
I see.
But I've seen I've seen plenty of recent footage of this individual, you know. And if anyone looks up, you know, top selling artists, you know, I'll give you a hint. It's not Michael Jackson, but he's still alive.
That's who I was thinking.
That's
who I was thinking. Okay, all right. It's not him. Okay. All right.
Yeah. No, better than Michael Jackson, if you can imagine that. I mean, Michael Jackson did a lot of great things, you know, but he just, covered in controversy, you know.
Gotcha.
But no, there's more of a pioneer, you know, and I think outsold Michael Jackson in some capacities.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So
yeah.
So open to those thoughts, of course, is as a, you know, there's clearly some people believe there's a medical, like a secret medical program that's happening that's able to, you know, extend the lives of people to, you know, maybe hundreds of years at this point. So that sort of thing. We haven't actually got into that on this show, but we will at some point, of course, because, well, these are things people talk about.
Yeah.
These are things people talk about.
I'll touch on that medical possibility of life extension, et cetera. But this person looks really good for being like 86 years old or 84, however old he's supposed to be. And I know he's kind of notorious for having like facelifts, you know, but he still looks great, you know, this guy. And but not only that, when I you know, during this whole email correspondence, it was just back and forth real quick. I got a Facebook ad from someone who looks a lot like this person, and it's not them, but this person has been rumored to have a twin or even been a part of triplets. And anyway, but it's just very weird. The more I keep looking into it, this family is like huge, and they're just, I mean, it really feels like there are a lot of people that kind of know the truth, and they're just kind of covering up for them. But
Gotcha.
Keeping them safe, yeah.
Gotcha. You're in the right place, my friend. You're in the right place. First time caller, right? First time caller?
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Xavier, welcome to Troubled Minds. I'm Mike. Pleasure to have you here. We'll look forward to hearing from you in the future, and that's one thing we will touch on, the secret medical program and some of these other things. So we'll talk about that in upcoming days. I appreciate the call. You were the best, my friend. Thank you for calling tonight. Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you soon.
Cool. Thank you, brother. Bye.
Thanks. Have a good night. There you go. Xavier, guys. Simple as that. Simple as that. You guys know. You can call. You can talk about whatever you want. That's what this show's about. That's what the show's always been about. And we're done. We're done for the night. I'm gonna go. Actually, hit the restroom. I'm gonna go help Joe Roop. I think Kelly might be calling to help Joe Roop. Let's see if anybody wants a little bit more. Joe Roop is doing Lighting the Void. I think he's got another 30 minutes left. He's looking for callers over there because his guest didn't show up. He goes from 9 to 11, so that's about another 35 minutes, and he's got to go. So I'm gonna go hit the restroom. I'm gonna try and call him if he needs help, and otherwise we're finishing up. We're done. We're gonna play this music, and we're out of here. We're out of here. You guys know what to do. You guys know what to do. I'm not going to keep streaming because it's just too long. The show becomes too long. So if you want to jump over to the Fringe, fringe.fm, maybe I'll be there, maybe I won't. It depends. Maybe he's got like a guest on. You know what I mean? Maybe somebody jumped in as a fill-in. I don't know. I'm not listening to that because I'm doing this. So anyway, there we go. Thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for being here tonight. As always, right? Keep your minds open. Be good to each other. Be good to yourself, because you can't be good to each other unless you're good to yourself first, okay? Give yourself the honor that you deserve. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here tonight. Be sure, be strong, be true. You guys have a nice weekend. We're done for the week. We'll be back on Tuesday. Actually, I think I'll try and squeeze in a conspiracy news show before then. I'll let you guys know the day before on Discord. If you haven't joined the Discord, join the Discord, troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link where you get the latest and greatest about Troubled Minds. Thanks, everybody, for being part of this. From our Troubled Minds to yours. Thank you for listening. Have a great night.